let's get going. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try that again without tripping over my own tongue. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for your listening pleasure. Yes, apparently even I entertain people on occasion. It's been a weird old week. If you're listening as part of the audience from the UK, you know there are some restrictions coming back in, much to people's chagrin. But, you know, it's something that I've been saying for some time. If people just kept to the rules and actually kept away from gatherings, then we wouldn't be in this situation. But it is what it is. Sean asked, "Hi, what do we have in the world of stupid today? How long have you got?" One thing I am going to, when I say this, hey there, Co92. When I say this is not a means of, when I say to get this out of the way, not to, devalue it, but I feel like it's something that's going to be addressed at some stage or another. So I say, let's just do this here and there.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Hang on. I really should get the new window up and running before I do anything further. Hang on. YT window. No. I want new tab. Here we go. As most are probably aware, Sir Sean Connery, James Bond star and Oscar-winning actor, dies at 90. This news comes to us from comicbook.com. Sir Sean Connery has died, confirms new reports earlier this morning. The BBC reports the Scottish actor passed away after 90 years old. I will say young, because there is no such thing as old. Connery's family announced his tragic passing in a statement earlier this morning. The actor was 90 years young. Born August 25, 1930, Connery was raised in Scotland to parents Euphemia and Joseph. The actor took pride in his heritage and enjoyed a variety of gigs before turning his eye to acting in the 1950s. Connery was first introduced to entertainment after being hired to work backstage at the King's Theatre, and he continued to pay dues as his notoriety grew. Of course, audiences will best know the legendary actor for his work on James Bond. The actor portrayed the iconic screen character in 7 films. His tenure as the British agent ran from 1962 to 1983. And should be noted, Never Say Never, while it was a remake of Thunderball, was actually the first movie to feature the on-screen appearances of Sir Rowan Atkinson and the movie debut of one Kim Basinger.
Oh.
And many James Bond fans agree Connery is one of the best actors to tackle the character. In fact, the American Film Institute chose Connery's James Bond was the 3rd greatest film hero of all time. However, the actor's feelings toward James Bond were notoriously strained. Connery recognized the spy made him a household name, but he felt boxed in by the franchise's success. Excuse me. In previous interviews, the actor's close friend, Michael Caine, admitted Connery would be upset when recognized in public as James Bond. If you were his friend in these early days, you didn't raise the subject of Bond. He was, and is, a much better actor than just playing James Bond, but he came synonymous with Bond. Following his tenure with James Bond, Connery went on to work on dozens of movie projects. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in The Untouchables. Some of his other great films include Highlander, The Hunt for Red October, Finding Forrester, and more. Connery was honoured for his career in film at the turn of the century back in 2000. The Scottish native was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II just a year after receiving a Lifetime Achievement from the Kennedy Centre. The actor announced his formal retirement in 2006 and only returned to film a few times afterwards. His legacy endures still today through his impressive body of work, and Connery is largely considered to be one of Scotland's greatest actors of to date. Our thoughts are with Connery's family and friends at this time. Rest in peace. And I actually offered a little something on my official Facebook. Bear with me a moment, and I shall see if I can pull the... No, Facebook. I don't want to log in right now. Now's not the time. Let's see. Okay. I'll put this in for people to be able to see for themselves. Seriously, not now. We rarely ever get an actor that can define a genre or series and be so versatile in other film projects. To a lot of people, the late Sir Sean Connery is the definitive James Bond, and they would be right. He had the wit, charismatic charm, physical and vocal mannerisms to really bring this character to life. His voice and accent definitely made it unique, as he couldn't hide his Scottish accent, but I think that added to the charm. His dry wit delivery of one-liners is what added to his legendary take on the character, to where he would say lines like "shocking" when an antagonist got electrocuted, and playing it seriously just made it more amusing. Little known fact, when the late Jerry Anderson was putting the original Thunderbirds together, one of the sculptors had Scott Tracy modelled after Sean's likeness. He has been King Arthur himself in First Knight, a submarine captain, an ex-con in The Rock, the movie, not the wrestler, voicing the dragon Draco in Dragonheart, and to playing Sir Alan Quatermain in 2003's The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which would serve
I
as his...
actually really like that movie.
Same.
That was his last movie.
Which would serve as his final live-action film role. Sean leaves behind an amazing legacy where his roles will be talked about for generations to come, as they have already. Thank you for the memories, Sean. You made us laugh, cry, and cheer in everything you did. His name was Connery. Sir Sean Connery. 00 legend. Rest in peace. Alright, I want to see what the audience are saying. Sean said Sean Connery was as great as Junior's dad. Okay, I'm not quite sure where he's going with that, but okay.
Indiana Jones.
Last Crusade.
Yes. Co92 says it's kind of a bummer that his last performance was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen of all movies. I think it comes down to the fact that, to my recollection, I think he just didn't enjoy making that movie, and just how Hollywood had actually become more about chasing for profit and special and visual effects rather than telling the story as it's supposed to be. I mean, this is one of the reasons why he preferred some of the earlier Bond movies that he was in, because the first movie was done on such a tight budget. They had to focus on the story and the characters more, whereas today movies tend to focus too much on, putting product placement in, how much money they can make out of it. And even Christopher Nolan kind of highlighted when they were putting Batman Begins together, it's like, shouldn't the focus of the movie for people to see the movie as the product that they want to get, as opposed to the figures and the various merchandise? I mean, the merchandise is nice, it's useful, but it should be like a bonus rather than the end product, and the end product being the movie that they all want to go and see. And I suppose Sean Connery had a very similar mindset. He wanted people to be invested in the actual story rather than the spectacle of it. And to be fair, he probably could have retired in the 90s if he so chose to, because, by the time he got to, say, The Rock, he could have had that as his last movie because he was already set for life. But he kept going because, he was a very proud actor. Some will say, it's so sad that he went at 90. It's like that. There's not many people that make it to that age. He chose to retire, I suppose, for all intents and purposes, whilst he was at the top of his game, because I'm of two minds of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I enjoy it for what it is, which is a good popcorn action flick with a couple of cheesy one-liners, but hey, this is what me and Win love. But I can understand his perspective of, he didn't like the way modern Hollywood was done. If he didn't like the way Hollywood was acting at 2003, he wouldn't like the MCU.
It was the same year that the Hulk and X2 came out. Yep. Now, I didn't mind X2, but yeah, as the critic once said, the Hulk didn't do that well.
And just to be as discreet as possible, the fact that Hollywood has a huge pile of skeletons pouring out of their closet.
Oh, God.
Only because of a minor observation. It just kind of felt like, aside from the year of Ick, it kind of also felt like the year of scandals.
Yeah.
Sean's just said for an actor that at 90 is a long time and X2 is better than X3. Oh, wholeheartedly agree.
Oh, God. Yes.
X2 is my favorite of the franchise.
X3. Fuck that goddamn movie. How dare what they did to my girl Psylocke. Fuck them.
I didn't necessarily hate X3, but X2 just was the better movie.
Yeah.
I could add something more to what the article has said, and probably a little bit more than what I put on my official Facebook. But he was that actor and figure that seemed to keep going, and knowing that he's no longer here, and from what I understand, he wasn't well for the longest time. In some sense, he's in a better place now because he's not, worried about his health anymore. I look back at it's gonna feel a little bit weird when I start to go looking back at the Bond movies that he was in, only from the perspective of when I was a kid and I'd see things like Dr. No, Goldfinger, and You Only Live Twice. Although don't tell that to Dragon Ball fans, they'd have a MacGuffin that says, "Nah, we can do more than living twice," but that's by the by. I think with the movies he was in, they were a product of their time, and you just appreciate them for what they were. I think if they tried to make Dr. No or Goldfinger the way they were today, there would be so many changes done to them because, well, although Daniel Craig's interpretation of James Bond is not necessarily less of a womanizer than the likes of Dalton's, Brosnan's, and Roger Moore's were, they would have a lot of things saying, you can't have them saying that to that woman, you can't have him being that womanizing, because, the world's gone through changes in the last near 60 years since Doctor No first came out. But it is what it is. Even when I go, back to look at those movies, there is something quite charming about the way he would just deliver his one-liners. And as it says, in my post, he could never get rid of his Scottish accent, but it added to the performance to where, at some stage, they actually tweaked Bond's origin to say that he is of Scottish and Swiss heritage. So just so that though, there would be some continuity and context, for lack of a better description. And as Sir Stephen pointed out a small while ago, the original plan in Skyfall was to have Sean Connery as the groundskeeper at Skyfall. But for whatever reason, they could never come to an arrangement, so we got the actor that we got. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was good, but could you imagine the cheer from the audience when Connery would appear on screen, facing his former role? That would have been something. And I suppose in some weird way it's kind of a missed opportunity with Thunderbirds Are a Go. It would have been amusing if in one episode you just have Scott come in and go, the name's Tracy. Scott Tracy, just a sort of a wink to the camera saying, yeah, I know my good looks were based on Sean Connery. Let's just go there and have done with it. But though they did feature the model of an Aston Martin in Ring of Fire, because where Penelope is outside this awards ceremony hall, one car down from Fab 1 is actually a 1962 Aston Martin.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice that sooner.
Well, it is what it is, and like I say, at some stage I'm going to start checking out the Connery Bond movies, including Never Say Never Again. To be fair, I actually saw that last summer because I was waiting for my brother to go off to bed just so I could go and set the TiVo box to record Thunderbirds the next day, and Never Say Never was on ITV1 about 11 in the evening, which I thought was a bit of an unusual time for a Bond movie. But, be as it may, I thought, okay, I'll give this a look. And even at 50, which was when Connery went to do, because Never Say Never was 1983. So he would have been 53 at the time he made it. He could still go. Granted, there were a few crow's feet, and his debonair Bond hairstyle wasn't quite the same as it once was, but he still had it with the one-liners, and he could still go one last time. But the thing is, there were problematic incidents on the set at one point in which he broke his foot whilst filming, so he was not a fan of that. But that said, I think most people would have said, you know what, we'll gladly endure that because you got to play opposite a very young Kim Basinger opposite you, whereas a lot of us be like, sir, we'll gladly be your fill-in. We'll gladly be your fill-in. And if Liz had the keys to the DeLorean, she'd be like, I will be Bond's sister. And everyone's just like,
I will be Bond's Hispanic sister.
I would not mind that, because unfortunately when that movie came out, I wasn't even a twinkle in my daddy's eye yet.
Same.
Like I say, that's what the DeLorean was for. But serious note, and like I say, it's been getting off onto a tangent. Sean.
Navi.
It's like, Sean.
That kitty is a bad kitty.
He shoved his paw in my eye. He wanted to come up to pay his respects,
cool.
and now he's Overlord's being the Overlord.
Yes,
Mother, I know you're on air, but...
00 Navi, shaken and purred.
Oh my god.
On a serious note, great actor, one of a kind, sorely going to be missed. And he's pretty much the template for how Bond should be done. Daniel Craig, take notes.
Pierce Brosnan, you passed with flying colors.
Always, my dear. Always.
Uh...
Now. None of that. Stop that.
What? He just made Pierce Brosnan just so charming. He makes me blush.
Raiden. First of all, your thoughts on his passing, and what did he mean to you? Not only as Bond, but what did he mean to you as an actor and a person completely?
I mean, honestly, I always thought the guy was pretty damn high class. I mean, of all the roles he's played, Bond is definitely one of his best. I mean, I thought his role as Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez from the Highlander series was pretty good too.
Hell yeah!
But still, you can't beat Bond, and the way the guy has just is the type of the chameleon actor who has done so many great roles for years. I mean, I think a personal favorite of mine is the movie Finding Forrest.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Ooh, I heard that one was actually fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good story of Crucial writer that was very interested on a teenager by the name of Jamal, played by Rob Brown, who is very interested of his writing. So that was pretty good to me. And of course, his final role, LXG League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but like you mentioned, MJ, it's a great popcorn movie just to watch.
Yeah.
It had pretty interesting characters. It had everything you kind of sort of need. Hopefully they do make another remake of that. Hopefully that's good. That's good real soon. You don't know what remakes happen. The Craft Legacy. Sorry, I had something in my throat. But yeah, what Sean Connery meant to me as an actor is he was the type of high class that is well respected. So he'll definitely be missed. And I know for a fact, ladies will miss that panty dropper that he calls a voice. Yeah, I'm not sorry. But yes, Taiju is here. He would make so many Sean Connery jokes known to man. So I won't go there. So all I'd say is R.I.P. to the GOAT, Sean Connery. He's up there with Roger Moore now.
Mm-hmm. So Stephen, same question.
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was first introduced with the Bond films with my uncle's old VHS tapes, because whenever any Bond film ever came out on ITV, he'd record it straight away, and including all the commercial bits in between. And so that's how I was first introduced to Sean Connery. Then, after a while, I appreciated the Bond films, especially ones with Sean Connery in after that. Although two major things really stood out for me, not really from an acting perspective, but more of a vocal performance, because for anyone who knows in the 90s, he was the voice of Draco from Dragonheart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yes, I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites. And
Have
I think it was in the early 2000s when EA were doing the James Bond games,
Mm-hmm.
they did a version of From Russia with Love with Sean Connery voicing Bond in that game.
They did. I think it was because EA had noticed there was a bit of a success going on, particularly with what we've happened with GoldenEye on the N64, which is probably the most played first-person shooter game to this day.
The greatest, the goddamn greatest, man, the greatest.
It revolutionized multiplayer shooters, that's for sure. If it weren't for GoldenEye, we wouldn't have games like Halo.
Yep.
I think at that point they had done a few Bond games under the banner: Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, and then with the Everything or Nothing that came the year before, From Russia with Love.
They even did GoldenEye Rogue Agent.
Yes.
Trouble is, from what I remember, they were trying to sort of recapture what they had done with GoldenEye on the N64, and did it actually match what it had done, or was it one of those
Well, what it was trying to do was have an play from an anti-Bond perspective, set in an alternate universe where all the main Bond villains of the past had some sort of undercover organization kind of thing, sort of like an anti-MI6.
All right.
It just didn't work for me, and from what I understand, Rogue Agent ended up failing at that point, financially and critically. But then again, I'm getting sidetracked again. To sum up,
if I may interject, it
sure.
also kind of happens when you don't have Rare do it, who worked on GoldenEye.
Yeah.
In my sum up,
Hey, Navi.
Sean Connery, a legend of acting in his own right. His legacy will live on through the ages through his works. And rest in peace.
Well said. Madam President, do you have an address to give?
Well, in regard to Sean Connery, like it's a loss. I mean, he lived for such a long time, and just hearing that news, it's like it hit me really. Well, it didn't hit me hard, but it's like just another reason of like, fuck you, 2020, fuck you. It sucks, but again, as I said, he lived for 90 years. It's like most people can't do that nowadays. He lived for as long as he did, and he for some of that, like from some of his roles, it's James Bond, but again, as Raiden pointed out, his role in Highlander was actually my favorite because it was a Scotsman pretending to be a Spaniard. It's like the ridiculousness of that was really fun to me, and he pulled, like he was actually trying nowadays. Like he was trying, but like with his last role, I don't think that he wasn't trying. He just didn't like the material he was given, which is fair. But again, there are some moments in that movie where he actually was trying, especially the scenes with Tom Sawyer. But it's like it's a loss, and we're gonna miss him, and that's all I can say. Just like rest in peace.
I feel like one line that he said in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen while it was probably in the script, I kind of couldn't help but feel like he was actually saying this question legitimately. I'm waiting to be impressed. I also thought, wait, are you acting there or are you actually genuinely meaning that? Because he was one of those guys, he would tell it like it is. Last and certainly never least, Win, what's your take?
Well, he's lived a very long life. I've noticed a lot of very iconic and well-loved people in the entertainment industry tend to live very long and meaningful lives before they pass. Like, we had Adam West, who was 89 when he passed. We have the great and never forgotten legend Stan Lee, who passed at 95 years old. And now we have Sean Connery, who has joined the ranks of greatness at the age of 90. Most of the movies that I've seen with him, I've thoroughly enjoyed. Be it the earlier Bond films I'd see on TV when kind of enjoying winter vacation or something, because one channel would always do a Bond marathon during Christmas vacation. Or if it's Dragonheart, which I thoroughly loved because I sat down, I rented it with my folks. We sat down, watched it, enjoyed every moment of it, and bawled like a baby when Draco passed. Because little 9-year-old me. And just all of his movies were enjoyable, especially even League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I had a blast watching that film, and while he may not have been keen with the material, you got to give him credit that he didn't phone in his lines. He still put in the effort regardless. He'll be thoroughly missed. That's all I have to say is, Mr. Connery, thank you for giving us an array of enjoyable films. Thank you for having amazing acting skills and probably leaving a hell of an influence on people who wish to aspire to be on your level in their respective goals in the entertainment industry. Rest in peace. You will be missed.
Yep. And a fellow Bond actor went and paid tribute to him. Pierce Brosnan remembers Sean Connery. You were my greatest James Bond. Brosnan.
Sorry. Continue.
Brosnan and other James Bond successors are remembering the late great Sean Connery. From one James Bond actor to another, Pierce Brosnan paid tribute to the late Sean Connery with a touching post on Instagram. Last week, Sean Connery passed away at the age of 90, leaving fans of the original 007 all across the world feeling shocked and saddened, along with being one of his successors. Brosnan is just as much of a Connery fan as the rest of us, as he regales in his tribute post, including a photo of Connery. Brosnan speaks about the admiration he has for the Hollywood legend in the caption. Sir Sean Connery, you were my greatest James Bond as a boy and as a man who became James Bond himself. You cast a long shadow of cinematic splendor that will live on forever. You led the way for us all who followed in your iconic footsteps. Each man in his turn looked to you with reverence and admiration as we forged ahead with our own interpretations of the role. You were mighty in every way, as an actor and as a man, and will remain so till the end of time. You were loved by the world and will be missed. God bless. Rest now. Be at peace. Pierce Brosnan debuted as Bond in 1995 in the popular installment GoldenEye. A hit in the role, Brosnan would suit back up in the tuxedo to appear in the sequels Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. He has also said that he'd be open to returning to the franchise in a future installment, but only if he gets to play the villain this time. For a lot of fans, Brosnan is also considered to be one of the best Bond actors, but even he has chosen Connery as his all-time favourite. When Sean Connery temporarily stepped away from the James Bond franchise, he would be replaced by George Lazenby in 1969's On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Connery then resumed playing the role, starting with the next sequel, talking to Instagram. Lazenby also offered his thoughts about Connery's passing. Only a few weeks ago, I was wishing Sean all the best for his 90th birthday. Now I'm very sad to be condoling with his family and friends. Of course, Sean Connery as James Bond inspired me personally, but seems to have encapsulated an age, the 60s. I met Sean a couple of times and I was pleased he'd given my Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service his seal of approval. He was going to do my film many times and I felt it was the best of the Fleming tales. But to me, the most important thing was his work went far beyond Bond, into charity, into family, into politics, and into golf. A man after my own heart. A great actor, a great man, an underappreciated artist has left us. My thoughts are with Lady Michelin and Sean's children and grandchildren. Only love, George XXX. Timothy Dalton, who played 007 in 1987's The Living Daylights and 1989's License to Kill, touched on Connery's death in a brief statement given to the New York Times as well. Sean was a wonderful presence, a great leading man, and should also be known, before the franchise went into hiatus for 6 years, Timothy Dalton was going to do GoldenEye, but there were licensing problems, which is why I think the franchise rights ended up changing studios. So, and in the end, he just got tired of waiting, and I think he said something along the lines he was too old for it. He just didn't want to do it anymore, and just like, okay, fair enough. Personally, Dalton's one of my favourites. Only because he's got the... In terms of the way his Bond was, think of what if James Bond had been played by Stone Cold. You know, doesn't say too much, just gets on with it, no nonsense. That type of mentality. More recently, after Brosnan finished up his role as 007, Daniel Craig took over the role, starting with Casino Royale in 2006. He will play Bond for the 5th time in the upcoming sequel, No Time to Die, marking the 25th overall installment of the long-running franchise. After the news of Connery's passing broke, Craig also honoured the original Bond with a statement about his passing. Sir Sean Connery will be remembered as Bond and so much more. He defined an era and a style. The wit and charm he portrayed on screen could be measured in megawatts. He helped create the modern blockbuster. He will continue to influence actors and filmmakers alike for years to come. My thoughts are with his family and loved ones. Wherever he is, I hope there is a golf course. Connery had retired from acting many years ago and had kept largely out of the public eye. He was residing at his home in the Bahamas when he passed away in his sleep on October 31. According to his son, the actor had been unwell for some time. He may be gone, but he certainly won't be forgotten. Rest in peace. This news comes to us from Pierce Brosnan on Instagram. Hearing that bit of news, at least he didn't feel anything. Because when you're in like deep sleep, your body's paralyzed anyway. So at least he went peacefully. Hearing those tributes from the actors, that was something. Dalton's is very short, but it's on point. But like I say, hearing, the touching tribute that Pierce Brosnan gave, because like Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan is of Celtic descent, because Connery being Scottish, Pierce Brosnan is, being Irish. He said when he was given like an award for lifetime achievement for Sean Connery, he said something to the effect of, "You kick down the doors for future Celtic lads to be able to get their foot in the door in Hollywood." Brosnan's actually my joint favorite because I was describing my reasoning why Brosnan's at least in my joint top three. Brosnan has like all the best aspects of all the Bond actors that had come before him. He had the wit and charm of Sir Roger Moore. He had the no BS attitude of Timothy Dalton, and he had the all-round personality package of Sean Connery's, where it's like I said, it was just like the most modern definitive Bond. He's got the suaveness of Roger Moore, but he's got the wit and charm of Sean Connery and the go to hell attitude of Timothy Dalton. But notice with each incarnation, they're always a dick to Q. It's like, some of there's one I forget which Roger Moore one this was, but it was when he was being given a gadget where he could see TV on his watch, and he had the camera focusing on this woman's chest. It goes 007. I have no interest in fueling your adolescent antics. And there's Roger Moore just like going, what? It's like, it's like if you look at this, you wouldn't be complaining, but whereas today that would be frowned upon.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. There was a Family Guy cut. Is like, you will have sex with me. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. See that, Alien? Multiple no's means yes. Multiple no's equals yes.
Oh, lordy.
Of course, didn't they have like where they had that one Simpsons episode where Troy McClure's like going over the Simpsons history with one outtake from Burns' Casino where you see Bond at the table with Goldfinger and Homer and take the Joker cards out of the deck of cards. Well, each tell me your plan for domination. Oh, I'm not falling for that one again. Yeah. Some very touching tributes. Anybody want to say something to that?
I mean, I think we already said our piece of like how we missed the guy, but I gotta give respect for Pierce Brosnan. I mean, he's my personal favorite Bond, so giving respect to another Bond who passed away is always fun to see. So mad respect.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There is one more article, and it's coming from one of Lids' least favorite directors, although having said that, it's probably not narrowing things down much.
Oh no.
Let's just say he likes explosions.
Oh no.
Michael Bay?
No!
The Rock director Michael Bay pens touching tribute to Sean Connery. It was announced yesterday, October 31st, the legendary Scottish actor Sean Connery passed away at age 90. Connery was known for many roles, including James Bond. In fact, Bond actors Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig both paid tribute to the late actor on social media. Connery also received some love yesterday from the folks at Lucasfilm, who worked with him on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade back in 1989. Another iconic movie that featured Connery was Michael Bay's 1996 action flick, The Rock. In fact, Bay is the latest person to have worked with Connery to write a special tribute in his honor. He was a legend, Bay shared with The Hollywood Reporter. We all have a few teachers in our careers, The ones that imprint something special on your being. Teachers that you haven't seen in 20 years, but you still remember their wisdom, like yesterday. Sean Connery was one of those for me. Bay added, I was young, dumb, doing my second movie, The Rock. I had heard he was notoriously tough on directors. I was terrified when I gave him my first direction. Sean, can you please do that less charming? He said, sure, boy. Boy was the nickname he gave me. The director also shared that Connery was notoriously thrifty and practical, and that he taught me so much about acting and the craft. Bay also shared a funny story which you can read below. Car chase, Sean driving and I'm alone filming him. He slams the brakes, my head hits the window. He says, you okay? I say, no, the Disney folks are here to kick my butt for being 2 days over schedule. Sean with that sly look says, you want me to help? Cut to having lunch with the Disney execs in a third grade classroom, sitting at tiny tables and chairs. We look like giants. I announced that Mr. Connery would like to visit and say hi. Sean comes in, sits down across from the open-mouthed executives. He continued, in classic Sean Connery style, he belts out in a Scottish tongue, the boy's doing a good job, and you're living Disney in your effing ivory tower, and we need more fucking money. Without missing a beat, they responded, okay, how much? He did it, because he loved movies. He loved excellence and doing the best he could. His work ethic was bar none, the best I've ever experienced. In addition to playing 007 and Indiana Jones's father, Connery was known for The Untouchables, Highlander, The Hunt for Red October, Finding Forrester, and much more. The actor's last live-action film role was in 2003's The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Mr. Bay? Normally, I would say rather negative things about what you do with Transformers, because let's face it, you deserve it. But on this occasion, I'm gonna let this slide. And touching tribute, and I never knew that Sean would actually go so far to tell Disney, come on, we need more help. But then again, are you gonna tell the 007 no? I mean, James Bond taking on Disney. Now that's a movie I'd love to see. 007, this is your mission. Should you choose to accept it, you are going to take on Disney. Shh. Mickey Mouse will be more than shaken and stirred, Moneypenny.
You're gonna die now, Bond.
Oh, not like your career, because in a few years your copyright will be up and you'll be public domain. Because that is true.
Fuck!
Yes, they'll make you say that too.
Oh, Jesus.
Because here's the thing, Disney have been trying diligently to keep holding onto the copyright, but the Monopoly Commission came along and said, nope. I think it's in 2023 or 2024, the ability to hold on to the copyright of Mickey Mouse ends, and he becomes public domain like Tarzan.
Oh, crap.
So, in a few years, expect quite a few fan projects that involve Mickey Mouse, and Disney won't be able to do a thing to stop it. That means even Raiden can do Mickey Mouse, the hip-hop years.
I've just thought of a title of Mice and Mountains.
Or, heck, if Nintendo so wanted it, Mickey Mouse in Smash Brothers, because it would be public domain, and they could claim all the money.
Ooh.
Heck, Mickey Mouse could actually show up on Family Guy, and Family Guy wouldn't have to ask for permission.
Damn.
Oh Lord.
Or heck, if they wanted to, they could have keeping up with the Mickey Mouses.
Or just make it a
God, no.
No.
Damn it, AJ.
Bad MJ.
Or what if Mickey Mouse made an appearance in a Looney Tunes cartoon?
Ooh.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love seeing a collaboration.
That I like.
I mean, technically, it happened years ago with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I know, which shows it works.
I mean,
Even Navi agrees.
Yay!
But
Listen to the Overlord.
like I say, all jokes aside, wasn't a story I was aware of that Sean did, but it shows his dedication, and kudos to Michael Bay for showing that much love and respect.
Okay, first of all, fuck you, Discord, for cutting me off. What I was trying to say was the fact that they had with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Bugs and Mickey basically talking to each other was just crazy. So just seeing that again would be interesting to see.
Oh yeah.
Like I say, all jokes aside, wasn't a story I was aware of, but full props to Michael Bay for still having that much love and respect for the late actor. We narc on some of the movies that Mr. Bay has done over the last 13 years, but this is one of those times where it's like, you know what, we won't be doing the slandering because this is not the time nor the place. Something that Yellow Flash 2 reported, because not even minutes after Sean had passed away, Twitter's cancel culture wanted to cancel Sean Connery, and it's like the man.
I saw that on Facebook. I'm like,
wait, what?
Ugh, come on. Okay. Let me take a stab at this.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, John. It's fucking annoying that whenever an important person dies, it's like you gotta just bring up their past. Yeah. I mean, listen. Okay. To James Phil. Here's his tweet. I want to knock these things. Sean Connery died. He was in some movies that I like. 3, he was an abusive asshole who beat women. Yeah. Okay. That's good. But you could have did that before he passed away. Like, you ain't shit for that. Like, and here's his punk ass response. To everyone who's upset by this post, die mad about it. Like, fuck you, man. Like, legit, fuck you. Like, there's a time and a place to do that, but you gotta do that shit when someone's dead. Like, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. So how about this? Cut the shit. Cut the shit. Actually do it when they're alive, or not do anything at all, or what? How about you die mad about it? Die mad about it, fuck boy. Okay, I'm done. You can continue.
It's pretty much what Raiden just said. People have had 20 to 30 years to speak out and say, why have you got to be there? Why did your version of Bond in the 60s have to be a sexist, womanizing, misogynist? Okay, first of all, that was a part he was paid to play, and the 60s, it was just how, it was a different time. It was how things were back in the day. Would it be condoned today if it was tried to be repeated? Absolutely not. But you can't, condemn people for what they did 20 to 30 years ago when it's just how society was. And it's a similar mentality that people on Twitter, went and said about when Chadwick Boseman passed away. Because now, for context, this is not Ariana Grande having gripes, because there was talk of having her songs on the Black Panther soundtrack, and when it didn't go that way, fans of hers got particularly bitter about it, and one Twitter user posted a picture of Ariana Grande with a recent pic of Chadwick Boseman, and it was Ariana Grande holding a skull, and I'm like, really, guys? That's just such bad taste. It's like Raiden said, if you're going to call somebody out on something, do it whilst they're still here, because I don't know if this is something from... I don't know if this is something written in religion and what have you, but I think this also counts just for how to behave properly. Never speak ill of the dead. It's just one of those, like... It's like how Chris Rock said in that video, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked by the Police, I wouldn't do this shit if I were you. Because it's just one of those... Let's just say somebody goes to say something somewhat derogatory about Steven in the future after he's passed. It's just like, the man, it's like he's gone. Why couldn't you say that to him whilst he was here? If it's in the context of you say something about his film roles where it's like, I didn't particularly care for that particular performance, I don't like the character that he played, he could have done it a little bit more tactfully, that's different. That's saying things in a constructive sense. But when you talk about somebody to say, oh, I'm glad he's gone because he was a sexist, like, whoa, 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 whoa. No. That's not called for. Do I agree with some of the things that Sean said about smacking women? No, I don't. But that's something that he had an opinion about back in the day. Whether he still felt that way in his later years, I don't know. It's a bit difficult to find out now. But it's as Yellow Flash says in his video. It's like, there's a time and a place. This is not it. I just think some people just need to learn... Excuse me. I just think some people need to learn tact. Because, you know, when somebody's sadly passed away, you know, when you say something as venomous and toxic as that, think what that's doing to their family, you know, to their children and grandchildren. Or what if, you know, his great-grandchildren have to read that in the future and say, hey, that was my grandfather, what the hell is wrong with you? You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I say, be critical of his work by all means, because he probably did one or two movies that wasn't his first choice back in the day, Zargon probably being one of them. But again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but don't slander the guy after he's gone, because that's tasteless.
It's exactly the reason why I fucking despise cancel culture.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some actors and people in life that are no longer here that I didn't have a lot of time for. Will I go and slander them now? No. Because what's the point? Because you're wasting energy on something that's not worth it. That's basically it. I think if you're the sort of person that feels as though they need to channel their energy into being that negative, but, you know, and potentially upset the friends and family of the deceased person in question, then it tells me what kind of person that you are and the type of person I don't want to be. And there are people on Facebook and Twitter that I've known that I don't have a lot of time for. Would I wish ill will on them? No. Because I'd rather channel my time and energy into the people that means something to me, i.e., the members in this podcast. Because you guys are always worth a damn. The people that aren't worth a damn, I'm not even going to remotely waste my time and energy on, because why channel so much time, energy, and breath into people that I despise when I could channel it into people that mean the most to me? I mean, that should be the sort of a lesson for people in life. It's like, it says to me, when you spend so much time trying to vilify somebody, whether they're here or not, what does that say to the people that supposedly mean something to you? That they're not worth your time because you're channeling all your energy into hatred?
There's enough negativity in the world.
Yeah. And on that note, with regards to what they're trying to do with Sean, with the cancel movement, I got nothing. I don't think it's worth it. It's just only once said, the guy's no longer here. Just let it go. If anybody wants to say anything with regards to that particular little aspect, I give you free range. I know Raiden said his piece about it. Lids, I know you're likely to have something to say about that because you're very passionate about telling people where to go when they can be that grotesque.
Before she goes,
is cancel culture can suck. Cancel culture
Before
can
she
kiss
goes,
my ass.
And sorry, I'm cutting you off, Liz, but
No, it's okay.
We know how you get, and I'm still feeling the vapor. So, Lynn, slight request.
Yes.
Navi picks after this, please.
Going through my gallery as we speak.
Okay, let's continue.
The only thing I'm going to say is that cancel culture can kiss the fattest part of my ass. I am done with this shit, all right? We get it. They did bad shit when no one was paying attention or freaking cared. Can we please move on? There. That's all I had to say.
Steve, your thoughts?
Just go back in your safe space and stop spoiling everybody else.
Amen. When? I know you've got something to say to that.
Yeah, give a moment. I have promised to deliver upon Navi Pictures. There we go. Have a sleepy kitty. Look, this is really starting to get out of hand. I would understand if it's someone who's done some extremely terrible things, committed heinous crimes like murder, sex-related crimes against humanity as a whole. But portraying roles in films that you don't personally agree with, it's kind of a bit much, or something they said out of anger in the heat of the moment years and years ago, or if they've done something bad, but at the same time they've moved on and tried to better themselves. What the fuck is wrong with you? At this point, it just feels as though the only way not to have your livelihood fucked over is by being absolutely perfect, which, FYI, as human beings, is fucking impossible. We are creatures of trial and error. We're eventually gonna fuck up, be it something big, be it fucking small. But if you're willing to own up to your mistakes and make up for it, then why fuck people over? Give them a second chance. And if it's not your cup of tea and they keep screwing up, then hey, part ways. Don't consume the content they're in. Don't socially interact with them if they're not in the entertainment industry. Just go about your business. Unless they've done something malicious, then okay, call the cops. Because crime is never okay.
No.
But to try and fuck over their livelihoods or talk smack about them after they passed? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Are you so spineless you can't say whatever's on your mind to that person's face? You have to wait until they're 6 feet under? Or in this case, you can't even... You have to wait until the body is cold in order to feel so brave, so stunning, and get fucking brownie points on the goddamn motherfucking internet to say what's on your mind? No! Sorry. Fuck you. Fuck the horse you rode in on. The high horse, mind you. Fuck you. Fuck anyone associated with you that would be willing to agree with this and not call you out on your gross nonsense. Just kindly go fuck yourself and take a long walk off a short pier.
Congratulations, people. You just pissed off the adorable one.
Calming down a lot now, because now he's just sitting on my desk being cute. Seriously, what's wrong with people?
Hold on.
What is it with people wanting to just ruin livelihoods over past sins rather than letting them try to atone for them?
Enjoy cute, chonky Malamute puppy.
Oh,
It's a junkers! It's a little junkers!
cute puppy.
Yep, I pretty much echo Wynn's sentiments. Normally, I don't speak out of tone, but to the people that are saying that about Sean after he's passed away, you people are disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Normally, I don't speak in that way, but I think in this occasion, I'm hoping people agree on this. That's warranted. Yeah. Okay. Close the door on that. Something... Actually, I think this is going to please both Raiden and Lydia in particular.
Oh?
WWE releases new custom Eddie Guerrero WWE Championship.
I think you just brought Christmas to Raiden early.
Eddie Guerrero tragically passed away 15 years ago, leaving a big space within the world of professional wrestling. But the environment of World Wrestling Entertainment is honoring one of the best in the business with a custom championship belt. While the WWE has always been a large producer of memorabilia and merchandise in the past, their recent move into creating championship belts for some of their biggest superstars is definitely one that has gained the attention of fans worldwide. Guerrero began his career in 1995 by joining ECW, an organization that relied far more heavily on brutal matches than the likes of WWE and WCW at the time, which got him enough attention that he was able to join the latter of World Championship Wrestling. He would then make his way to World Wrestling Entertainment, joining a number of his fellow wrestlers that did the same and began to claim a number of belts that were up for grabs at the time. Guerrero became the World Heavyweight Champion in 2004 in WWE's No Way Out, managed to do what many thought was impossible in defeating Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one bout that would go down as a classic within the ranks of the organization. Of course, it omits from the fact that he had an assist from Goldberg. The official description of the belt, which can be purchased here for around $500 reads as such. WWE is celebrating the legacy of Eddie Guerrero with the newest entry in our signature series of replica titles. Each design is an homage to one of the greatest superstars in WWE history. This title features a central plate modeled after the WWE Championship that Eddie Guerrero held, complete with his nameplate. The strap has undergone a special printing technique to match his gear and is adorned with the phrases Latino Heat and Lie, Cheat and Steal, making it a must for all Eddie Guerrero fans. Will you be picking up this belt honoring the late, great Eddie Guerrero? What belt would you like to see made available that has yet to hit the WWE shop? Feel free to let us know in the comments or hit me up on directly on Twitter at EVComedy to talk all things comics, animes, and the world of professional wrestling. And I can show you the belt in question. Check that out.
Oh God, it's so sexy. I love the colors.
And just look at it.
Give it. Gimme. Gimme.
If I had the money, I may just put. Oh, I like the 360 spin. You can see of it, and you know, going after possibly one of the best template belts for the WWE title. That was the last decent WWE title. Because
I love that. Yeah, I love that design to this day.
Like I say, that's a great way to honor Eddie, and it still feels so weird that he's been gone this long, yet it still feels like it was only yesterday. Because I remember waking up one morning and hearing Eddie's, and reading that Eddie's gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, how?
For me, I didn't know until I saw that Raw. I was like, yo, what's all these superstar wrestlers? What's with Eddie Stars going on tribute show? And then when Vince and Eddie Guerrero passed away, it sent a shock down my spine, And sadly, years later, I found out how he died. That was not fun. That was not fun to go back to.
Well, we know the reason why, because of all the drug and drink abuse that he put his body through. Even though by that point in 2005 he had achieved 4 years sober, but it's simply that his heart got too big, and he was at a point in his life where he shouldn't have been working full time. It is what it is. I think some of the interesting match setups, one I never thought I would ever see happen at that time in 2005, was when you saw the matchup of Shawn Michaels and Rey Mysterio, which that was probably one of my highlights for the evening. I'm like, okay, is this like Dream Match Central this evening? I mean, don't get me wrong, would have preferred it under much better circumstances, but to see, where they just kind of threw the rule book out of the window that night and just say, you know what, let's just have this night as a tribute to Eddie. I don't know if this was being done for script purposes, but you would have thought that evening they would have said to Orton, look, don't do the story for tonight. Don't have a thing between you and Cena, because Orton chose to be a dick and go after Cena. And while Cena is, he's such a polarizing wrestler. There are those that hate him and those that love him. If you don't like him, that's fine. But this one touching, classy gesture that he made just before he walked out of the ring, he lays Eddie's t-shirt on the floor and then lays his WWE title on top of it and walks out the ring. I just thought, it's like, look me in the eye and tell me that you would talk trash about Cena after that, because if you do, you're not a human being after that, because that is possibly one of the classiest and most respectful gestures you could make for someone that's sadly passed on. And I just looked at it and I thought, hey, full respect. Because And in all honesty, Eddie Guerrero deserved another reign as a world champion, preferably the WWE title.
Funny thing. Way before he died, they were gonna write him as they were gonna put the world heavyweight title on him.
Yeah, because Batista was carrying an injury at the time, and I think once it got to like January 2006, he couldn't put any surgery off any further, which is when he had to vacate it. So going into Survivor Series that year, Guerrero would have taken Batista's place. But in the end, I think it was I'm not sure who actually.
I mean, no disrespect to Batista, the match itself between SmackDown versus Raw was amazing. Still one of my all-time favorite traditional elimination matches.
And I remember this popping up on YouTube years later. They showed Eddie Guerrero's last match ever, and it was against Ken Kennedy. And his last match ever. This is where it was kind of bittersweet, because even though it was his last match, it put a smile on my face. He won via the Guerrero family tradition. Lying, cheating, and stealing.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that.
Oh god.
Like, that's always been my favorite thing that he did. Like, just like playing possum is like he throws the chair threw the chair to his opponent, and then he played possum.
I like how, one example, it was the week before Kurt Angle returned on SmackDown in 2003 with his neck surgery. And it was Eddie and Tajiri versus Team Angle. He goes and throws the chair to Charlie Haas, then lies flat out in the ring. Referee looks to see Eddie, then he sees Charlie holding the chair, and Charlie's like, no, no, no. And then rings
like, you.
I mean,
the fact that Eddie and Shawn never fought in the ring.
I know.
Is just criminal.
I know. Yeah, that would have been an interesting matchup. I mean, all right, you could do that on the good WWE games before they started getting really terrible.
Stiff, very stiff.
Probably like the last decent WWE game for my money would either be 2K13 or 2K14. That's just me.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that was before 2K fully took over production.
Yeah. So, you could probably have a simulation of Shawn versus Eddie, just to see how the computer would be able to try and like pick out a winner. I think for me, it's not just the lie, cheating, and stealing, but it's just the charm and some of those low riders you would come out and I'm like, I got to have me one of those. Especially when you get the hydraulics to go side to side. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, I love that. Was fun.
When they brought SmackDown, I'm not sure if this was 2004 or 2005. I think he might have been on the UK SmackDown, because what they used to do in the late 90s going into the early 2000s, you'd get 2 UK pay-per-views. What started out as Mayhem in Manchester, and then 99 would actually be No Mercy in Manchester before WWE adopted it as No Mercy in the States for around October that year. But from around 2000 onwards, in May you would get WWF Insurrection, And then in around October, November, you would get WWE, WWF Rebellion. But what they decided to do from 2005 onwards, you would actually get 2 Raw and 2 SmackDown tapings from the UK each year. And I think, actually, yeah, this may have been the 2004, because Eddie Guerrero was going up against Luther Reigns.
Don't be confused with Roman.
No. And Eddie Guerrero, I think I can say this in the nicest context. Although he didn't come out in a lowrider, he came out in a ragtop Nissan with at least 3 to 4 page 3 models by his side. And I remember thinking at the time, you lucky bastards! It's like, and these were some gorgeous women, because even Liz would be like, okay, I'm taking down your number for later. Yes. I'm going to be calling you later. And even Eddie was kind of got this look on his face like, she's like, should I do this as part of the act, or should I act like I'm enjoying it? Because that was just like one of those moments like, okay, he's clearly not acting here, he's clearly enjoying this. Nowadays that wouldn't happen, because valets is kind of seen as a no, you can't do that, no, unless you're doing like a managerial thing like Paul Heyman. That's about the only time you have somebody accompanying you to the ring. But I was just looking at Eddie at that time, and I thought, there are so many people that would love to trade places with you right now. It's like you've got 4 gorgeous women with you.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Now I remember that episode. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, MJ.
And I think he won that match with Reigns as well.
Yes.
He goes home with the win. And the women. And from what, if I'm correct, he did it via the family tradition: lie, cheating, and stealing. I think that was when they were actually starting to do like all those vignettes in the third quarter of 2002, where you'd see Eddie and Chavo either going off onto a golf course or being professional pool repair guys, or going by walking along Beverly Hills, and Chavo takes the baby's milk bottle after Eddie took her Rolex.
Hey, why'd you take that? Hey, I still something.
The one that makes me laugh is it was on the golf course. It goes, let's see, I did 3 on that part, 2 over there, and an extra one to put it in. Give me 2. I mean, it was done so cheesy, but it was just like, you know what, we're gonna allow this. And that's the first time that I ever heard the expression "Viva la raza." And funny thing, I think I've told this story once or twice before. It's the first SmackDown after he's beaten the Bork Laser for the WWE title, and he's kind of like this. You could tell it's an unscripted promo, because Eddie was always a guy that would speak from the heart. And the camera's microphone was able to pick this up. Somebody in the crowd yelled loud enough, "Viva la raza!" That's right, Holmes! Viva la raza! And I'm like, it's like you wished you were in attendance that night, because imagine like everyone looking to this one guy who says that. It's like, hey, you got Eddie to respond to you. That's something. I think had he not passed away when he did, I think realistically he probably would have been 2 to 3 years away from retirement. And what he would be doing now, if he were still here, I like to think he'd just be enjoying his time with Vicky and his girls.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even start his own, lowrider customizer shop.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And also, I hate to say that, but the WWE would find a way to work him into the stupid Mysterio feud with Seth Rollins. I'm like, why?
Oh God! If anyone saw SmackDown yesterday, well, I didn't.
I
I don't watch SmackDown no more. But listen, look. I have no problem with Aaliyah kissing Buddy Murphy. It is what it is. I don't care. Like, I mean, I've heard she has a boyfriend, and listen. I'm hearing he's cool. He's cool about all these sort of things. As long as she's cool with it, she's cool. But like, man.
I get it. They're consenting adults, but ew.
Oh God. Okay. Where's the reaction I need? Here's my reaction, and I don't like this person that much, but Lord. Yeah, I'm just like, they actually did it. They actually freaking did it.
That's my reaction to that.
I knew for a fact Vince was going to be interested in the Leah Mysterio, and the fact that he's using her like this, well, from what I've seen, she's actually pretty good at acting, but still, I can't stop laughing at this.
That's called acting? Really? I think 8th grade productions with more better acting skills than that girl. Come on.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
You know what? It's reminding.
I forgot what the soap opera was called, but I call it all my Mysterios.
That bit turn reminded me of the clusterfuck that was when Eddie Guerrero says to Dominic, "I'm your papi."
Oh my God! Oh, that's
and the memes that popped up of Eddie Guerrero, being superimposed into Darth Vader's costume with him with the helmet. He goes, "Rey Mysterio never told you about your father. He taught me enough. No, I'm your papi."
That whole storyline was one to go back to.
Yeah, that led to the ladder match at SummerSlam 05, where Dominic's adoption papers were suspended.
Oh my God! That was in my neck of the woods in Washington D.C. So the fact that it was in there is infamy.
Oh God! And then
along with
and Vicky kind of missed her cue at one. She was supposed to come out earlier, but she missed the cue.
Oh my God! I love that.
Yeah,
where the fuck is Vicky?
And that was a time where Vicky Guerrero didn't sound like the human sound barrier.
I want my mommy.
Navi never sleeps in front of the TV anymore.
Oh dear.
The fear of God.
I saw that whole segment because WWE SmackDown's Facebook page posted that whole segment. I'm like, this is bad. It's like the writing for this. Okay. I'm gonna say this in terms of just calling it down the middle. Even A-Log could write something better than this.
Ouch.
I left an animated GIF just for my thoughts on the whole thing?
Nope.
Poor Lena. Oh dear. I still find it amazing how she made that sarcophagus and that pyramid that quickly. But then again, all you have to mention to her, it just say, "Your sis is here," and she's like, gone. But yeah, back to Sirius. Great looking belt. I really would prefer they actually bring that world title belt template back, because the current WWE title, how to say this in a way that everybody can understand it, when you make me miss the spinner belt, you know you done goofed. But then again, by extension, the spinner belt, to its credit, it was good for probably 2 years before I felt like saying online, can we have the real belt back? It's like, this is cute, it's been done now, but can we have this belt back? Because that belt lasted for 3 years, to give it its due, because that came April 1, 2002, when Ric Flair, the then Raw owner, presented it to Triple H, because Triple H was the undisputed champion at that time, and it just made more sense just to consolidate the 2 belts into one, retiring them at that time, retiring the Attitude Era Winged Eagle belt, which is personally, that's my favorite world title belt, with this one being a joint second. But you know what do they then go and I've always noticed this pattern in WWE. I'm just going to go off on a slight tangent for a second. They'll do this great hurrah, hurrah thing. You know, yes, we fused these 2 title belts together. 8 months down the line, oh, we're doing a brand extension again. I'm like, really? They did this in 2002 when they'd had the Undisputed title formed, when Jericho beat Rock and Austin the same night. They have 2 belts consolidated into one. You go 4 months down the line, the brand extension is then being run by Stephanie McMahon and Eric Bischoff respectively. SmackDown gets the WWE title, Raw brings back the World Heavyweight belt, so I'm like, right, so that whole crowd, so you've made the Undisputed title meaningless now. We go to 2013, we have the belts fused back, because by that point the brand extension was long gone. Now granted, this, you know, the WWE title as it was lasted for 3 years, but then in 2016 they decided to do the brand extension yet again, and we have Dean Ambrose going over to SmackDown because he retained his WWE title at the July pay-per-view. So then they say, right, Raw needs a new title. So it's like, World Heavyweight title? Universal title. What? And I just don't get it. Why do they, bother to put so much emphasis and such importance on fusing belts back together, only for a short time afterwards, oh, okay, we're going to have two world titles again. It's just something I don't get. Anyway, tangent over. I'm going to get down from my soapbox before people start throwing tomatoes at me, which for me wouldn't be the first time. Great looking belt. If I had the money, I'd buy one, and I'd probably give Raiden and Lids their own ones too, because they're like, Lids be like, oh yes, this belt is mine. Lid, can I? No, you cannot have it, Odie. This is my belt. This is my belt. Yeah, I've said more than I should have, which with me is nothing new. Raiden, I know you're eagerly awaiting to say something about this, so sir, you say as much as you need to and as long as you need to go for.
I mean, damn, what is there to say? I mean, the belt is so freaking beautiful. Like I said, if I had more money, I would definitely get that. But saving more personal stuff. But yeah, it looks great. And since you went on your little tangent, mind if I go on mine?
I not only hand you your microphone, I also hand you CM Punk's megaphone that he had to, just in case he got cut off.
Cool. You know, it's a shame that, you know, we lost Latino Heat so early. But the real shame is this: the brass tacks inside the WWE don't know how to build an actual legit Mexican superstar. And I'm sorry. It's the damn truth. They tried with Alberto Del Dumbass, but look where he's heading at now. So there you go. And Andrade, oh God, my heart weeps for Andrade every single day. You know, the guy is wrestling royalty. You gave him the IC title, that's great, but still, nothing. Angel Garza as well. I mean, he has charisma, he has all this, but the fact is this: Vince has this very unhealthy obsession of trying to transform someone into the next Eddie Guerrero. Like, no, Eddie Guerrero's irreplaceable. Like, people are individuals. So I don't understand why is it a huge thing to make someone that clearly he's not. It's mind baffling. It's just not cute to see, you know. So, like I said, Belt's amazing. You know, Eddie is sorely missed to this day. Glad his legacy is still felt, especially the people who idolize him, a la Miss Sasha Banks, who has idolized him since when he won the WWE title. So, yeah, like I said, it's a beautiful belt. Eddie will never be replaced.
No.
You know, so damn good belt. Hopefully get that in the future, and there's that.
You actually raise a very good point with, as you say, Wacky Mackey trying to turn a Mexican American wrestler into the next Eddie Guerrero. Eddie got where he was by just being himself, you know, with just the volume turned way up. In the same respect, Shawn Michaels got where he got by being himself. Triple H got where he got by being himself. And a wedding ring. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Mick Foley got where he was by being himself. And the biggest example of them all, Stone Cold Steve Austin got to the top just by being himself, but turning like all the personality traits up to 11. Vince just doesn't seem to understand. Don't try to make don't try to take, say, Kevin Owens and turn him into Steve Austin. Let him be Kevin Owens. Let Seth Rollins be Seth Rollins and not the Friday Night Messiah, which WWE, careful, you could end up annoying the wrong people and the wrong forces. I mean, to be fair to Seth, he sells it. I'll grant the man that. But there are some things you just don't go provoking. Another example. Now, to be fair, this is not really Alexa trying to be like Trish Stratus when she came in. She just happened to have very similar mannerisms and personality traits that Trish had when she first came in 2000. Very similar way that she would put people down. Very similar way that she would actually speak. So in that one, I think it's just more a case of coincidence. And even in NXT, Nia Jax referred to Alexa Bliss as Little Trish. The only thing is, Trish wouldn't do the whole horror gimmick that Alexa's doing. But as it's been pointed out, Alexa's a huge fan of horror movies, and she's having the time of her life at the moment.
She is. This is her magnum opus at this point right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only times Trish had ever done anything sort of Halloween related, I think it was the Halloween edition of Raw in 2005. You know, some were coming out. I think Maria came out as an angel. I think Candice Michelle came out as a she-devil. Trish comes out as Wonder Woman, and Mickey James comes out as Trish Stratus. It's like, okay, you're trying to play at the whole stalker angle. Oh, good lord, now I have this awkward image of Mickey James at that time being the WWE's equivalent to Rose from 2.5 Men. That's a woman you don't want stalking you ever.
No, God, no. Oh, Lord.
You always gotta look out for a woman named Rose, to quote Wedding Crashers. 'Cause I'll find you.
Oh dear.
I would recommend that movie. Wedding Crashers was heckin' hilarious.
The one Rose moment that was both hilarious and creepy at the same time is when Charlie says that he's going to marry Mia, and you see Rose go from jovial to serious, and she goes, "I have things to do." What things? Walks through the lounge and actually exits the front door. It goes, "Do you see that? She used the front door. She's never done that." It's like, no. What do you think she's going to do? It's not a question of what. It's a question of when. And he goes, "I could actually see her medication stop working." It's like,
oh, fuck.
It's like I said, that is a woman you don't want stalking you. I mean, don't get me wrong. The actress is gorgeous. But... yeah. She knows how to sell the crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes too well.
Yep.
But you know, like I say, to give Mickey James credit, she knows how to play that well. Although, if I ever see anybody in WWE currently trying to, you know, dress up like Alexa Bliss for, you know, like a Halloween costume thing, it's like, wait a minute, this seems oddly familiar. And Mickey be like, I'm staying well away from this. But yeah, had to get back to where I was. I was losing track of what I was doing for a minute. Vince, just let them be themselves. This is why Dean Ambrose is over in AEW, because you wouldn't let him be Dean frickin' Ambrose.
Exactly.
I mean, even Dean said something to the effect of, when he was on a podcast interview, he was told to read every single part of the script down to the last letter, whereas back in the day, Vince Russo would give the wrestlers the script, you know, the script where you give them bullet points, but then say, feel free to have some creativity. I mean, some of the Rock's, you know, best promos were him just, you know, working with the bullet points and just him just doing as he wanted to. I mean, an example of one of the best promos ever given without it being heavily scripted, Austin's King of the Ring speech. That was all ad lib. And talent gets over better when they're allowed to just cut loose. I mean, you can tell with, say, something like The Miz around 2010, 2011, that's scripted, because you could sort of see in his eyes thinking, right, what's the next bit I got? Or the best example of someone trying to remember down to last detail, that's promo between Cena and Roman Reigns, to even where Cena says out of character, "Listen up, boy, this is how to promo." When Cena looks better than his supposed replacements, like, Oh wow, we have problems.
And also said, you should feel bad that you should feel bad that I'm a part timer. I'm like,
Yeah. But I felt like in some respects, I felt like Cena in that particular angle was a tiny bit hypocritical because he called The Rock out some 5 years before that for being a part timer, and yet here he was going to do that himself. I was like, Cena, you're gonna get a few people calling you out for that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. But yeah. To try and draw it back to where I was supposed to be, Win, your thoughts on the belt? Would you have it if money was no object?
Hell yeah. I loved watching Eddie Guerrero's matches when I was a teenager. It would be a nice little addition to my collection, and it looks great. I kind of miss the simple belts from back in the day. Don't get me wrong, like you said, the John Cena belts were... The spinner belt was fun, but sometimes simple is best.
I'm of a similar persuasion, particularly when it comes to the Intercontinental title. I know a lot of people love the classic 80s and 90s belt, but for me, the one I grew up with is the belt that the likes of Val Venus, Kurt Angle, and Jericho in particular held around the early 2000s. That is the belt I think of as the most definitive.
What the giant eagle belt?
Yeah, the one from when, because they actually debuted that belt around early March '98 when Rock had it, and then to the last one who actually had it before they updated it to have the nameplate on was when Kane had it in that winner take all match at No Mercy 2002. That's like I say, that's the one I think of with the IC title, because that was what I grew up with. That's what I grew up, seeing. I mean, even Booker T got a chance to hold that belt. And let's be fair, around that time in 2003, Booker T was being screwed over once too many. When he got that belt, I thought, no, he deserves this. But of all the irony, 2 weeks later he has to vacate because he's got a back injury. And I'm like, oh, come on. And let's be fair, also, that storyline between Triple H and Booker T from Mania 19, that would not fly today.
Nope.
I mean, I grant it was to make Triple H look like a major heel, like he didn't need any help by that point, but to really push the envelope where it was that questionable, it's just like, guys, you don't need to go there. And then of course, Vince saying that line at Survivor Series 06.
05.
Oh, was it 05? No, because
Yep.
Because Booker was walking up in his King Booker outfit, wasn't he? So that was 06, because he didn't become King Booker until he won King of the Ring in 2006. Yes, no?
Maybe.
Probably. It's a little foggy, but still.
I'll have to check that out later. I'm just still amazed to this day that someone didn't go up to Vince and say, "What the fuck? Seriously?" And of course, we happened to touch upon Kane in that match. The less we say about that storyline, the better, because that's been done to death as well. I think we'll move on because I think we've all said more or less enough. And this one's not going to have an article, But this is something that Nick Nugent has been. Co92 says it was 2005. All right, my bad.
Yep.
Another thing that got brought up on SmackDown this week, and it's something my buddy Nick Nugent has been saying for a while. Sasha's good at getting a belt, but she's not so great at retaining. And when it was announced that it was Sasha and Bailey again, I'm like, Sasha, what are you doing?
Yeah. Let's...
Hashtag 30 days back.
I mean, you know what's gonna happen next week.
And here's the thing, I really don't want Bailey to win the belt back, because she had that belt more than long enough.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't mind it anymore, because I feel like with Bailey getting that belt the first place last year, especially with her new character change, I feel like it's defined her. So I mean, it's gonna suck for Sasha, but still,
But like I say, I would rather see Asuka versus Sasha, because I feel like Bailey has been over promoted as a champion on SmackDown. It's like, come on, let someone else have it for now, because change can be good. But Sasha's got to prove everybody wrong next week and actually retain that belt. Because everybody remembers the hot potato wing that happened in 2016 between Sasha and Charlotte.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, when it leads to that multiple title changes that quickly, I mean, someone goes and says, "Yay, I'm a 7-time champion." It's like, yeah, that means you had to lose it 6 times. A friend of mine has this theory: the less times that you have the belt, but the longer you have the belt, makes you a better champion. I mean, for example, if you look at Shawn Michaels, he's a 3-time WWE champion, but he held that belt considerably for a lengthy amount of time when he did pick them up, each respective time. I mean, best example of a champion holding it for a while, some 9 years ago, CM Punk got his second WWE title at Survivor Series and held it for 434 days. And the only person that's beaten it in the modern era is Brock Lesnar. But, and this is the thing that people don't talk about, Brock did that with the Universal title. He may have beaten Punk's reign for the WWE title, but not even Lesnar has held the WWE title as long as he has. So, yeah. I'm not predicting anything major between Sasha and Bailey. It's just like, WWE, I know you're not going to do this, but for once, impress me. Surprise me. Actually put Sasha over for once. But you won't. You're just going to do the same thing that you do over and over again. I think my ideas are the greatest of them all. Really? Why are you tanking in the ratings? And
it's fine, I'll just put the blame on someone else.
See, when you blame other people for your problems, that just says, you're a bad workman. You're not taking accountability. If I screw up in one of my videos because it wasn't well written, I'll hold my hand up. Now, to be fair, if some videos don't get the traction that they should get, part of it is to do with the algorithm, because the algorithm is programmed in such a way for the bigger players to get more views. And if I look at it from the perspective of, say, Mr. Beast or Tyro Magnus, they want to stay on top, and that is part of the aim of the game, but they started off small just like the rest of us. So if the video is doesn't perform too well because you didn't put the time in, then fair enough. But there are times where I see good content creators putting the effort in, but they're not getting ahead the way they would like to. Yeah, that's just is for what it is. But like I say, long story short, really should learn to tangent less. WWE, just do me a favor, impress me, and don't do the predictable shit like you're known for. But why waste my breath? Because we all know you're gonna do. And in the words of Raiden, just take the damn L for once. Dan's just saying, not gonna lie to you guys, that fight with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell was some good stuff.
It was. I could definitely agree with that. Ever since this whole tribal chief thing, it's been pretty interesting. So I'm interested on what they're gonna do with it. I mean, I'm wondering if they're gonna bring in The Rock next year. That's. I mean, since Roman wants to call himself the tribal chief, I'm like, let's not forget who the original tribal chief was.
Mm-hmm. And I like what they're doing with regards to his promos. He says very little, but he says it in such a stoic way when he goes and says, "You will fall in line." Because let's not kid ourselves. Roman Reigns, with regards to his promo skills, he's never going to be The Rock.
Yeah. Rock
is in a league, in a school all of his own. But Roman works best when, like I say, he says very little. And sometimes the most impactful stuff is where you say very little, but you put meaning behind it. And to be fair to Roman, I don't think it would hurt his status at all if he just let Paul Heyman be his mouthpiece, because that's what Paul Heyman does best. He's been able to work with putting over guys like Undertaker, RVD, and biggest case in point, Lesnar, because there's a reason why Heyman was made Brock's mouthpiece, because Brock and promos are two things that do not go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you really want to be kept awake all night.
Yeah.
Ko92 says, I have heard Roman could be leading a new faction with the Usos. That'll be intriguing.
Yeah, especially with Jey Uso turning heel and just annihilating Daniel Bryan.
I did hear about that. Yeah. Lids, sorry for making you wait so long for this, but I seem to be on something of a longer tangent this weekend. Thoughts on Sasha Bailey? And like me, do you hope they don't do the cliche thing and have Sasha drop the belt again this quickly?
I mean, again, I was okay with how their Hell in a Cell match ended, because that was the first time Sasha won a Hell in a Cell match, but Sasha has a track record, and a predictable one. That's why Oni keeps saying hashtag 30 Days Banks. And I agree with him, because yeah, she can hold on to a belt. The only reason she held on it for so long was because she had Bailey. Now that she doesn't have Bailey anymore, she's not going to hold on to that belt for much longer. And my guess is that Vince is going to screw her over and she's going to lose the belt again. And they're just going to keep hot potato on the belt until Survivor Series. I'm thinking the reason they're doing this is they want Bailey versus Asuka at Survivor Series. But I wouldn't mind if it would just be a one-on-one match between Sasha and Asuka, but what can you do?
Raiden, your thoughts?
Honestly, I ain't surprised. Yeah, I mean, she loses that belt. And honestly, the fact they're gonna have Asuka versus Bailey again. I'm sorry. Bailey, I'm sorry. I love Bailey, but Bailey's been off this bitch for years. So ever since from NXT to now, she's never got a win on her for years. So the fact they're gonna put the belt on her and have her face Asuka, you know damn well they're gonna have her lose again. So that shows their stupidity like always. So. Also, the fact they're doing the Raw vs. SmackDown thing again for the consecutive year is like, ugh.
I know.
But whatever. I'm like, half and half. I'm not gonna watch, but still. But yeah, Sasha's gonna lose that belt. Especially, I don't know what it is, but WWE loves to screw over Sasha when she wins the belt, and then she has to do it, get another one, when she has to defend it, she loses it immediately. I just don't get that at all. So for me, it is what it is. So there you go.
I know you've been very adamant that you don't watch WWE that much these days, Win, but what's your take?
I'm gonna have to call a mulligan on this one, because much as I like both wrestlers, it's just the same predictable shit every day. Because for some reason, Vince has a hate boner for change, and apparently the fact that Sasha Banks keeps having to get subjected with this, it kind of feels like a hate boner for Sasha.
Because the girl is genuinely talented, but, she's just used as the proverbial punching bag.
That's what I mean. It kind of just feels like a hate boner. It feels malicious to just constantly give someone the win only to kind of tear them down over and over and over. It feels like watching a toxic relationship in action. And it's kind of, and I'm not gonna lie, it's sad. It's really fucking sad. If I were Sasha, I'd say fuck that and go to AEW, where it sounds like the rosters have more freedom and don't pick the same winners over and over and over ad nauseum.
Well, to be fair, the women's division isn't exactly. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Especially with the whole Rona thing. Half their women are like can't be available, but still, it's serviceable.
Yeah. Regardless, it just kind of sucks seeing great potential getting fucked over ad nauseum. So yeah, in this case, it's nothing against the roster. It's more just the predictability of the company they work for. So mulligan.
Fair enough. Alright, there's an article that Steve is looking to share. Every classic Godzilla foe teased by the anime so far. Godzilla Singular Point's first teaser trailer includes classic characters from across the franchise's history, both beloved and obscure. Co-produced by Studio Bones and Orange's Netflix upcoming Godzilla anime series Singular Point recently released its first teaser trailer. The footage, which blends the aforementioned studio's 2D and 3D house styles, gives us our first glimpse of protagonist Mai Kamino, a researcher, and Yun Arikawa, an engineer in action, as well as some moody shots of a toothy Godzilla almost hidden in red smog, a nod to the kaiju slaying Oxygen Destroyer perhaps. The most exciting takeaway for longtime fans, however, is the confirmation that classic Godzilla characters will also appear in the animated series, all of whom Godzilla has come to blows with in the past. Here's every identifiable character we spotted in Singular Point's trailer, along with our best guesses. Rodan. The sight of a giant pteranodon in a piece of Godzilla meant only one thing: Rodan. Though a little different from what we've seen from the flying creature looked like before with its more reptilian head, it's a pretty safe assumption that a winged dinosaur-esque beast speeding through Tokyo skies can only be one of Godzilla's most famous opponents. Rodan first appeared in its own Toho film, 1956 Rodan, directed by Godzilla co-creator Ishiro Honda, before becoming a frequent figure in the Godzilla franchise, starting with 1964's Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. More recently, it featured in its first live-action American installment offshoot series, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Jet Jaguar. Without a doubt, Jaguar's inclusion in the Singular Point trailer would have gotten the biggest reaction from kaiju fans. The giant mech appears in some kind of warehouse in the anime. As its design is fairly close to the original suit from the 70s, poor old Jet has possibly been gathering dust since his last adventure. A heroic defender of humanity, Jet Jaguar was the result of a contest Toho ran in the early 70s that encouraged fans to submit their own super robot characters for use in future tokusatsu films. Though Jet was intended to headline its own movie, it instead ended up sharing the spotlight with Godzilla in 1973's Godzilla vs. Megalon. Outside of a few comics and video games, the character has somewhat faded into obscurity, making it a welcome sight for sore eyes in Singular Point. Gabara. Though it could be mistaken for King Caesar, this bluish dog-like creature is most likely Gabara. Debuting in 1969 All Monsters Attack, Gabara is an amphibious creature who exists only in the mind of young kaiju fan Ichiro Miki, making its inclusion in this trailer a curious one. Like many of the suits of its era, Gabara's original look is pretty goofy. It's more of an annoying bully than a serious threat. However, its anime counterpart is anything but laughable, pairing up the red mist in the trailer with a huge horned head and rows of sharp spikes along its spine. Anguirus.
It's weird how some people now pronounce it. I usually prefer to say it as Anguirus.
Anguirus then. Almost as beloved as Mothra, the arrival of Anguirus in Godzilla media is like saying hello to an old friend. That's largely because Anguirus, unlike most of the King of the Monsters kaiju brethren, is actually one of the closest things he has to one. Anguirus is a crocodile-inspired beast famous for its burrowing ability, which the trailer sort of hints at with the dust clouds running around its feet. Anguirus and Godzilla's special relationship goes all the way back to the series' black and white days in 1955 Godzilla Raids Again. The two actually faced off then. They gradually discarded this hostility in subsequent cinematic encounters. More than just a begrudging ally, Anguirus often comes to Godzilla's aid by its own accord, endearing itself to fans by picking fights with far bigger and nastier creatures and refusing to give up easily. Biolante or Biolante?
Biolante.
The aquatic creature we see dipping and diving the ocean is hard to connect any existing monster. It's most likely an original creature, which will be a good addition to the franchise that has had surprisingly few fishy foes for its sea-dwelling star to fight. However, and this may be a stretch, what looks like a flower in a small cube held by researcher May could point towards another obscure Godzilla character, Biolante. Originating in 1989's Godzilla vs. Biolante, the mutant flower beast is one of many kaiju created from Godzilla's own genes. This one combined weirdly with the DNA of a rose and the dead daughter of a scientist intent on resurrecting her. Okay, this is getting weird. It goes without saying that Biolante is one of the more unique specimens in Toho's monster stable, and like Jet Jaguar, would likely make for a welcome return in Singular Point. That's a lot to take in from that. Steve, since you requested for that one to be brought in, you go ahead and make and say your piece, because not really being a huge expert on these characters, I don't really have any opinion to give on this, so you have full range.
Okay. I was thinking about suggesting to us to watch the trailer, but you know how everything is with copyright infringement and all that. I thought it best I'd share the article with the with respective images of said characters. But so far, what I got with the vibes of the trailer, it's like a combination of one of the more recent IDW comics, Rulers of Earth, with one of the main characters being representative of Lucy from the third ongoing run in the IDW comics, kind of like researching into the monsters and the origins. I know Kaiju was very pleased to see Jet Jaguar make an appearance because he was one of the first mecha characters to ever appear in the Godzilla franchise and is a very cult classic. I, for one, was very pleased to see Anguirus make a return because even though he's one of the first kaiju that was featured, he hasn't appeared much in the Godzilla series. And as for Gabara, the design, from what I can tell, is basically, what if you combined the look and style of the face of a traditional Japanese Oni monster with an ogre from Western mythology.
An Oni monster.
Uh,
It's like, Liz, is there something Oni hasn't been telling us? So does that mean every time we play the dragon flute now we see Oni coming out of the water?
Oh God, no.
I'm just reminded
That's
of the
a mental
Oni
picture.
masks. Remember in Jackie Chan's season 4 where they were looking for the Shadowcon masks? Something
Yes,
akin to
love that,
something
love that season.
something akin to the look of one of those masks.
All I can ever hear whenever I hear Jackie Chan Adventures pop up is simply this: one more thing.
Well, Uncle was a popular character for all the right reasons.
What was it when he was having like this weird hallucination? He actually saw himself saying that to himself.
And anytime Jackie's being chased by the antagonist, you just hear "bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day." Sorry, I'll bring it right back. Thank you.
Lumo Guai Fai Di Cao. That was a good series.
Oh yeah.
But this actually looks promising. And given the fact that we have Godzilla vs. Kong also hopefully coming out next year.
Well,
and with the Pacific Rim anime also being produced and put on Netflix.
I know.
I forgot that was going to happen. That was even happening.
And hopefully,
looks like next year's gonna be very much kaiju themed. And a lot of kaiju fans are gonna be happy.
With regards to the Pacific Rim anime series, hopefully it's not a continuation of Pacific Rim Up Yours.
No.
let's never. Well, aside from the mid part of all the Jaegers coming before they half of them tragically met their end.
I would love to hear Kaiju Noir's opinion on this, but I assume he's still sleeping.
Yeah, we were all up pretty late for the Halloween podcast. And before it started, he was on a pretty long train ride home.
Oh.
The only thing that we did for Halloween was, first off, we got Domino's. And second, we sat down for another round of Batman versus the Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
And Domino's
Pizza time.
And Domino's, for a limited time, are doing chocolate orange cookies.
Oh my lord!
Ooh,
that sounds amazing.
Yummy.
Yeah, they do the Big Night In variants where you can get two medium pizzas, 2 side orders, 1 dessert, and one 1.25 litre Coca-Cola of your choice, so anywhere from regular, diet, zero, cherry zero, all, and I stress this, all for $24.99.
Oh, stop! You're making me want to drool.
I was gonna go large, but I find if I go through the garlic bread and then try, and I stress try, just to go through half of the large pizza, I've barely got enough room for dessert. So it's just like, no, if we just keep it medium, everything will be fine. Although Random prefers to go large because then he's got breakfast the next day. But problem is, large costs more by default.
Yeah.
And it's why.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's why I only try to have Domino's once a month, because they are not cheap. But yeah, that was worth it for last night. Plus, it's just a good way to just to unwind and what have you. Although he made it very clear he didn't want to watch anything horror-based, because Random's just not really a fan of horror movies, with the lone exception of Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992.
That's valid.
Has to be said, I think that movie's aged well. Because Gary Oldman, damn. That's a performance of Dracula that's not going to be equaled for some time.
Nope.
The only thing I can denote that movie for is, and to be fair, this is not Keanu Reeves' fault, accents are not really his thing.
I'm sorry, he was horribly miscast in that movie.
Even in interviews, he says he regrets butchering the accents because he really did practice and try so hard. And I really don't ever want to fault Keanu in anything because he's a cinnamon roll.
The one who I felt was enjoying her performance to the point where I questioned if she was even acting was Sadie Frost as Winona Ryder's friend in there, because apparently in order to get too much into character, to get Sadie going weak at the knees, he would whisper things to her on set just to get her in the mood. And then when Francis Ford Coppola was asked what did Gary Oldman say, he said the things he whispered to her were unrepeatable. I'll let you work out your own imagination for that.
Okay.
Yeah. It would be a situation where even George Takei saying "oh my" wouldn't cover it.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Wow. That's something. That's something.
On a minor note with regards to horror movies, I think probably my favorite one, and this is not necessarily classified as horror, it's probably considered action comedy adventure, but 99's The Mummy. Only because it's got everything.
I kind of sort of like the sequel, Mummy Returns.
I like that too.
Still,
Oh yeah, the first two were great. Can't really say anything about the third because I've never seen it, but I definitely can note that. Avoid it.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
in that case, the first two I love.
Aside from Jet Li being a badass, it's best to avoid.
Okay.
how to phrase this. If you just, take it at face value, is that it's done purely for the sake of a sequel. Brendan Fraser gives a decent performance as best as he could give. William Hanna is always great as John. You could tell things weren't doing great because Rachel Weisz wouldn't come back to reprise his role as Evie because they had someone else.
Third movie.
Because someone else came in, and to be fair to this actress, she actually tried.
But the actress' name is Maria Bello.
Yeah, I actually liked her. She wasn't Rachel Weisz, but I thought, you know what? She's in a situation that no one asked for, that she didn't ask for. She was replacing, a very beloved performance, and she did what she could with it.
Yeah.
As for the rest of it, I just felt like they put this movie out just for the sake of let's have a trilogy. They should have left it at Mummy Returns. It's like, no, that's it. Done.
One thing I can definitely at least say is the more and more I see recent pictures of Oded Fair, I can't help but wonder, where is this fountain of youth? We need to find this because holy crap, he is a silver fox. He has aged well.
Guilty pleasure for me with regards to horror movies is 2010's The Wolfman. It's not the best horror movie. I know Benicio del Toro tried, but he was horribly miscast. And Emily Blunt, I got love for her as an actress because I think she's alright, but she really shouldn't have been in that movie. The direction she was given was horrible. The only one who was trying was Anthony Hopkins because, as he so often likes to do, he chews up the scenery, and that was literally and figuratively.
Right.
Yeah, if anything, he has to vie for the ultimate ham sandwich against Mark Hamill.
Let's see. My favorite horror movie. I think for me it's a tie between the Child's Play movies and Friday the 13th. Mainly Friday the 13th part 3, 4, 6, and 7. For Child's Play, it's mainly Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2, Bride of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky.
And of course, there's the most recent one where they had Mark Hamill voicing him.
I checked that movie out. It wasn't that bad. It's just like I just didn't appreciate like the studio doing that since Don Mancini, the creator of Child's Play, was like not really done with the whole series itself. But still, I really did like the whole plot of good guy dolls being a little bit more digital. It was pretty decent. The characters themselves were pretty cool too.
Well, Dan's just saying, I like 2009's Daybreakers. Willem Dafoe is pretty damn good in that. Yes, he was.
I can agree.
Oh,
hell yeah, that movie was great.
Cool.
Oh, speaking of vampire movies, everyone ever seen 30 Days of Night?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes, I love that movie so much.
That shit was gore. That shit was gory, and I love. And it was a twisted scene I love. Like, the one time this one chick was walking alone in the snow, and then the one vampire was like, "Please God," and the vampire was like, "No God."
And that was one of the very few movies where Danny Houston didn't phone it in.
Yeah.
Ooh. The vampires in that movie were awesome. Just like the jagged razor sharp teeth. I'm like, nope, no.
Yeah, I think that was
especially the one scene. You know, Raiden. You know which one I'm talking about. The little girl eating the guy inside
yes! Oh my God, that was amazing.
You want to play with me now? I'm like, no, I don't want to play with you, little girl. No. Oh.
Trying to think of.
Yeah? Don't you want to play with me?
No, no. Yeah, sure, you can play with the snake I have.
Then feel free to burn in hell! Sorry, I had to do it, Liz. I couldn't resist.
Leave it to you to be both creepy and adorable at the same time. But that's why we love you.
Oh, I've just thought of something as well regarding the last article.
Sure.
If the Godzilla Singular Point anime does well, one thing I'd love to see, because Universal Japan has been doing it a lot recently, would be some sort of 4D ride based on that.
Ooh.
Because there's one sequence in the trailer where you see two people in a jeep trying to kind of with a harpoon charging Angerus coming towards them, which kind of reminds me of the scene in the Lost World where they're trying to who was it that was trying to wrangle up the dinosaurs?
InGen.
Yeah, I was kind of reminded of that somehow. And I think something like that might do well for a 3D based ride.
Okay. Alrighty. Apparently there was an article that Wynn wanted to share a little bit earlier. The Karen tier list.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
by one Penguin Zero, aka Moist Critical.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Folks, do you want to go visit the Karen again?
Be prepared to laugh. Though after this, I think I might bow out because the time change has kind of left my biological clock a little wonky.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't experience the time change, so I'm good.
You're lucky, Liz.
Okay, I'm at 0-0.
All right. Everybody at 0-0?
Mm-hmm.
All right now, children. Get ready to see a Karen in the wild. Keep your hands inside the car at all times. 3, 2, 1, and play.
Time once and for all to answer the question on everyone's mind over the last month. Who are the best Karens? We've had so many incredible
There is such a thing as a
postmenopausal
best
women melting
Karen?
down in public recently in spectacular fashion, all captured on video, and they're all great. But who are the best? And that's what I'm here today to answer.
Probably
I'm
the most
only man on this
Karenist of
planet
Karens.
qualified to accurately
Shouldn't it
gauge
be more
these power
titled
levels and
which
put
is the
them in their
worst
proper
Karens?
tiers.
That they're
So
not
let's just
exactly
get right
things you
into it.
want to be?
Now, starting us off, we have the horror movie Karen here, the ghost-type Pokemon. This is a haunted Karen. And I'll put clips of each of these Karens just to refresh your memory on who these characters are in the Karen lore and extended universe.
Hi, I'm asking you if this is your home. Because it's private property. Because it's private property, sir.
Oh shit, I remember that clip from last month.
Absolutely. Just respectfully.
This is who I imagine greets you at the gates of hell, like right before you cross the threshold of her molten rock. She's like sitting behind a desk like some kind of angry librarian and welcoming
Just looks
you
weird
aboard.
that
So
the
now,
fact
why
that
have we given
they've
Scary
stretched the
Karen
video
an
out, it just
A-tier
creeps me
rating?
out.
It's actually a very tame freak out, if you can even call it that. She just kind of acts like a moderately annoyed spirit that was awakened because this man spray painted on the property that she was haunting. So why is it worthy of an A? Well, it's because I think she's fucking terrifying. Next up, we have
great comedy
breakdancing
material.
Betty, guardian of blueberries.
I don't like to see people wrecking it. We're not wrecking it. There's literally so many
You guys
berries
hear me?
everywhere.
God,
Yep.
we're not
Yes.
wrecking it!
Yes.
Oh, there's so many berries out here! There's so many berries!
Now, I can, of course, respect the energy here. In fact, I love it. I love her energy here.
Hello?
That
Okay,
dance she
what
does
the
where it looks
shit?
like
Yeah.
she's playing
I remember-
Taser or swatting
I'm
away
just now
mosquitoes. It's
taking a video, guys.
fantastic. But after that, it's all downhill, and it just
Yeah,
devolves into
I
just
remember
some
that clip,
fucking
except
boring
it wasn't
dialogue.
on
It's like
any
she
Penguin
expended
Zero
her
one that I
entire
can
day's
remember.
worth of energy
I
here.
remember
Where
Mr.
you
Wacky
at?
and
I
Yeah.
flailing
didn't
tube
where you
man
guys
dance
at?
she did there out of
Yeah, that one
nowhere.
was
It's like she was waiting for
Huh?
the
What's
right
up?
moment to
Where you guys
unleash
at?
that, her
Because
trump card,
again, I
and
didn't
when
watch
it
the
didn't
and
scare
start
away
watching the
the
video.
berry
My
predators,
Oh,
she
sorry.
was
internet kind of
defenseless.
died.
Everyone
Oh
stop
shit.
watching that
Well,
footage.
let's go back from the beginning then, shall we?
Okay.
I
Alright.
rewind. Damn
Sorry, guys, my
technology.
internet's been a little wonky.
I guess it's Ghidorah messing around with the power lines again.
Damn it, Ghidorah!
All right, I'm back at
Alrighty. Everybody good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And Karen tier list. Take 2. And action!
It's time once
Later,
and for
bro.
all to answer the question on everyone's mind over
just
the
said,
last
later.
month. Who are the best Karens? We've had
Sorry,
so
I
many
have way
incredible
too much fun.
postmenopausal women melting down in public recently
Yeah.
in spectacular fashion, all captured on video, and they're all great. But who are the best? And that's what I'm here today to answer. I'm the only man on this planet qualified to accurately gauge
Did you
these
just
power
notice his
levels
hair
and put
got
them in
more
their
big?
proper tiers, so let's just get right into it.
He's right.
Now, starting us off, we have the horror movie
To be fair,
Karen here,
there
the
was a
ghost
couple
type
of good
Pokemon.
ones
This is a
done by
haunted
Mr.
Karen,
Repsion.
and I'll put clips of each of these Karens just to refresh
But
your
Moist
memory
Critical's
on who these
definitely the
characters
top
are
tier
in
on the Karen
lore and
hunt.
extended universe.
Hi, I'm asking you if this is
And I'm officially scared.
I need an adult! I need an adult!
absolutely. Just respectful.
Oh, but Lydia, I'm a Karen.
This is who I
am an
imagine
adult.
greets
No,
you at the
no,
gates
you
of
weren't.
hell, like right before you cross the threshold over molten rock. She's
No
like
worries, if
sitting
she gets
behind a
anywhere
desk
near
like
you,
some
I'll
kind
have
of angry
Navi
librarian
claw her
welcoming you
face out.
aboard. So now,
Thank
why have I
you.
given Scary
Praise
Karen
to
an
the
A-tier
Overlord.
rating? It's actually a very tame freakout, if you can even call it that. She just kind of acts like a moderately annoyed spirit that was awakened because this man spray painted on the property that she was haunting. So why is it worthy of an A? Well, it's because I think she's fucking terrifying. Next up, we have breakdancing Betty, guardian of blueberries.
What?
We're not wrecking it. There's literally so many berries everywhere.
God, we're not wrecking it.
What
I need
I can, of
holy
course,
water.
respect the energy
Yeah.
here. In fact, I love
She's
her
not.
love
She's
her
not
energy here.
breakdancing.
The
She's
dance she does where it looks like she's playing
she's
Beat
having a
Saber
seizure or
or
something.
swatting
Somebody
away
call an
mosquitoes.
ambulance.
It's fantastic.
No,
Yeah.
seriously,
But
holy
after
water.
that,
Get that
it's
holy
all
water.
downhill.
Yeah.
It just
Spirit.
devolves into
I saw
just
that
some
one on a
fucking
Repsion
boring
video. He was
dialogue.
just
It's like she
laughing and
expended
taking
her
the piss
entire
out of that
day's worth of
particular
energy
Karen.
hitting that like wacky inflatable arm
'Cause
flailing
apparently
tube
you're
man
not-
dance she
in
did
her
there
eyes,
out
you're
of
not allowed to
nowhere.
pick
It's
berries
like she was
in
waiting
a
for,
wild
the right moment to
park.
unleash that, her trump card, and when it didn't scare away the berry predators, she was defenseless and
Who
just
made her a
resorted to
park
some
ranger?
shitty conversation. So I had to give
The
it a B.
Department of
The
Minerals.
Her
dollar
delusions?
store cereal goblin. I could
Hmm.
only
The
find
dollar
this
store
one
cereal.
frame that captures her face where she's peeking over the cereal here during her explosion. And this is it's a pretty high
Oh
octane
yeah,
one,
I've seen
but
one of
I'll
those
explain
before.
why I
Went
had
on a
give it
trip to
B.
Aldi with
you
one
say
of
you
my
were in a hurry?
coworkers.
Oh no, is that Aldi?
Don't talk to
Yeah,
me.
there's an Aldi. I was gonna say there was an Aldi in Palm Desert. We made a pit stop there since I was hanging out with my friend at the time. She needed something really quick, and this Karen was kind of losing her poop over
Not on
something
her.
near the aisle. That and
You
because
spit
the
on
Aldi
her.
people were trying to get her to wear her
This is
mask.
just a textbook Karen
Oh,
freak
shit.
out. If she was a Mortal Kombat
Oh, one of those
fighting game character,
people.
she would be a pretty
Uh,
well-balanced and well-rounded character. She's got some great up-close and personal attacks with her screeching and screaming, and she even has some projectile-based attacks as well, such as spitting. So she
Which
does have a lot of tools at her
Which,
disposal, and she's
because of
not
the
shy about
pandemic,
using
you
them.
can
But I think
actually
this is
charge
definitely
them
B-tier
for a
freak out
terroristic
because
assault
it's not
now.
filmed great. I don't even really get to see the woman, so I don't have a chance to really learn about
Hell,
the
it's
character
technically
and connect
second-degree
with her and
assault
really
even
just
without
kinda
the
see what
pandemic.
she's all about.
I said you're the same kind of people that walk the Jews right into the gas.
Whoa! 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 That escalated.
I'm a musician and a very
That's
popular one.
great.
By the way, I've got 13 degrees in psychology. I'm a member of Mensa, and I have a master's in political science.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
stay away, stay away, stay the fuck away.
I'm putting the Jimmy Neutron.
So, you got degrees in university? That don't impress me much.
While I am very impressed with her resume,
oh my
with
god,
over
I want to
13
see those
degrees in psychology,
certificates,
a
please.
master's in hemorrhoids,
Why
and
is it
whatever
people that
else,
take these
a musician,
sociology
all this, the
tests
jack
are
of all
always
trades,
so
master of all.
pretentious?
I
I've
just feel
taken
like the
one
actual
once
Karen
for
freakout
a
was just a
transfer
little underwhelming.
prerequisite humanities,
She,
which
as a
actually you
specimen to
can learn
study, I
some
think is
really
pretty
cool shit
interesting
in
as far as
humanities
Karens
because it's
go, but as
more or
for the
less
actual
history.
content of
But
the
with things
of
like
the
political
fucking
science,
public
never
freakout
really
and
saw the
meltdown,
appeal.
just a little on the lackluster side.
No, I'm not, motherfucker.
What
You
science
fucking
is there behind
accuser.
a
Get
bunch
the
of people's...
fuck out of here, you fucking accuser.
I'm not gonna...
You
Whoa!
fucking accuser. Accuser
Language!
of the fucking brethren, you motherfucker.
To quote Captain America, language!
You.
Motherfucker.
Lady, go eat a bar of soap, because you need to wash your mouth out.
And while you're at it, maybe
Who is this brethren you're speaking of,
To
ma'am?
this day, this is still one of the best
Jesus.
freakouts I've ever seen. Not only just in this one video, but this woman has done this at Walmart 3 times that I know of. She is consistent. She always brings the highest level of energy. When I see this video, I can't help but start like pumping my fist in the air, like, yeah, you go! Show those
That's all I
motherfuckers
hear.
who's the boss. Like, it's got everything.
Somebody
you
get a
could possibly
tranquilizer.
want. A lovable
It's almost like she's
protagonist.
speaking
Nah, nah,
in
nah,
its
you
Incredible
need
Ventura.
amounts of rage,
you need
all just being
multiple.
thrown out all at once in this nuclear bomb of emotion.
Oh
It's just
my
fucking
God.
wonderful.
Against the law.
Oh, not this one.
This is just an extremely
Oh,
underwhelming
no.
Karen.
Oh,
She just
no.
goes to an establishment to
Also,
preach about why she
lady,
can't be made
put
to
some
wear a
more
mask
clothes
because it's
on.
unconstitutional and that Bill Gates is the one behind
What
it,
is this?
who's secretly
against
behind
the
curtain
law.
making sure we're all mind-controlled and
Oh
impotent or
my
some
god!
shit.
Oh my
It's
god!
just lazy.
No!
She doesn't even seem
Stay
very
away.
passionate about it. She's not even screaming. She doesn't even do any like spaghetti arm kind of dances or anything. Like it's just
Bill
it's just
Gates.
underwhelming. So definitely a D
What weed
tier
she
Karen.
smoking?
Oh, this one.
Oh,
Spaghetti.
I already feel my ears bleeding.
Yep.
This absolutely deserves an A rating. That's why I don't even need to defend this shit. The
Not
only reason
this.
it's not an S is because she doesn't get physical, nor does it last a super long time. It's only about a minute worth of
Do
her
not
screen
want.
time. And it's just great.
I don't think
She
anyone
strikes some
wants.
big poses.
I don't think anyone
big
wants.
fuck yous, not only at the cameraman, but at the
I'm
security guard
pretty
and
sure.
some mysterious
I'm
man
pretty
behind
sure
her.
even
She's just
her
tossing
spouse
fuck yous out like
regrets.
candy on Halloween right now.
Bitch,
And
why
she's
did I
doing
marry
it
you
with
again?
ear-piercing
Oh, wait,
manner.
that's right, because
She's
I
got
didn't have
great
options.
Control over her vocal
Oh, yeah,
cords from
beer
the very
goggles.
guttural lows to the very screamo highs of fuck yous. Just very
I
impressive.
seldom judge
Oh, not
on
this
appearances,
one.
but these ladies are just as nasty on the inside, so I like to think that maybe I get a free pass.
Of
Yeah,
course, this
I
miserable
agree.
maiden. This woman tried to break up a street performance because she didn't like all the noise going
It's
on. In
on
her neck
a
of the
beach
woods.
boardwalk,
So she
lady.
goes up
Get
there, gives
over
everyone
it.
the finger, and
Clearly,
refuses
you
to
should stay
leave
the
for,
fuck
like,
away from
10,
Venice
15
Beach
minutes
if
while
this
the cops
drives
have
you
to
crazy.
forcibly remove her from the premises. This is a B tier freakout for sure. She was able to completely
Because
shut
Lord
down
knows,
a
Venice
performance
Beach
for,
has
like,
a lot of
15
really cool
minutes, which is pretty
performances,
impressive,
street
and then
art.
got arrested. So there's a happy ending.
She
Living
would be
statues.
Sorry guys, I can't come to lunch.
Right, I'm at 7:13.
Mm.
Yeah, you put an ad up.
Oh.
Oh shit. Where you at?
7:13.
Hold on.
Okay, cool. I wasn't too far off then.
I'm on 714, so I'll just.
That's fine.
All right, we good?
I'm at 7:13.
Yep.
3,
All right.
Hold on.
3, 2, 1. Resume. Oh, not this one.
Oh shit.
Honey, no.
I'm pressing X to doubt that
Yeah,
you
this
had
one's
to
just
climb
low
over because
energy,
that
low
car
stakes,
window
like the
does not
biggest
look like it would
conflict
fit
here in
you.
This plot line was this woman had to
Climb.
climb over the driver's seat to get to the passenger seat, which
Climb
is
over
a
the
seats.
and a bit of a headache. Yeah.
Lady, you would.
But then it has like 3 minutes of this back and
Lady, you
forth
would just get
dialogue. It
stuck and you
sounds
would need
two
the jaws
shitty
of
video
life.
game
Isn't this
NPCs
the
having an
Karen that
argument.
said that, you know,
It's just
these
not
Karens
very
spend the
good.
majority of their time on Facebook reading 50 Shades of Grey fan fiction?
Wait a tick. You wouldn't just need the jaws of life. You would need the jaws of life and a whole tub of Crisco to get you loose.
Whoa.
Ooh!
Run.
This one's
Run
definitely not bad.
away!
This lady's attacking her from in front of her, to the side of her. She's putting her ass on everybody's face. And then she notices the camera. And then shit
oh
just
no!
pops off.
I've been
Engages in a
assaulted.
high-speed pursuit, and it's pretty solid.
Oh, God! Oh,
Put her on a leash.
put a fucking bra on!
Keep her away!
Keep her away! Keep her away! Keep her the fuck away from me!
Oh God, she reproduced!
She threatens to kill a woman because of something her daughter was doing. Because I don't even remember now, to be honest. But it was something because this lady hated the
Someone
woman's
get this
daughter.
woman a
So was
push-up
filming
bra.
the daughter and up in her face and threatens to kill her. Alex Jones has to like reel her back
Ma'am,
in.
do
It's a
not
CT
breathe.
freakout.
Please.
Did you pay for it?
Do not want! Do not want!
June fucking 1st.
Okay,
sir.
Karen.
So there is no right for you to be here.
Okay, Karen.
Okay, Karen.
Not fucking parents.
You kind of are, sweetheart!
That's how you feel it.
We got 60 in here.
Like that. That's you. That's how you sound.
The dog's
Lady,
like,
you seem drunk. Go home
man,
before you
man,
fall in the water.
Look at that poor dog. Like,
Just be quiet.
Mom, please. I just want to go. I want to go home and get something to eat. I don't want to be part of your bullshit.
Look.
This is an S tier freakout
Oh, God. Oh,
all
God. Oh,
fucking
my God. Oh,
day.
really?
This has everything you could want and more. The lady is constantly
She's lucky she
screaming.
didn't get
never
thrown.
loses that
She didn't get
intensity.
herself
Voice
thrown in
doesn't
the
crack at
water.
all, just constant
Oh, my
yelling.
God.
And
I wanted to see
the
that,
mother gets
goddammit.
involved, and Captain Richard, the father, gets involved out of nowhere. The whole family comes into the mega mix here, creating this incredible recipe for beauty. It's this delectable dish of Karen meltdowns, including a male Karen on the boat. And Captain Richard even
Those are
loses
nuts.
his
Those are worse
sunglasses
than
in the
regular
scuffle.
Karens.
It's truly a
Oh, dear.
remarkable freakout in
A
easy
Ken.
S tier.
The elusive Ken.
Better go back to
Oh, no.
You just know. You just
I've met quite a few Kens. I don't like them.
bitch. You just touched me. Oh my God.
Oh,
That's
no,
the
no.
freakouts where
How
you
you
can
like
actually
that?
see instant
How
punishment
you like
for
that?
being an
How you like
asshole.
that?
Just gets
How you like
absolutely
that?
fucking slapped, walloped. All 5 fingers
Love
right to
that.
the face, a clean
Your
slap,
face.
rattled the glasses. It was pretty solid stuff, definitely.
Someone give that
freakout.
chica
The
a
reason it's
slice
not
of
an A
cake of her
is because
choice.
There wasn't like enough of a build-up that came in towards the end of the conflict.
Because she
but
deserves
overall, still
cake.
Pretty solid.
We don't play games anymore, okay? Next time you ever talk to me like that, you're gonna get your ass kicked by my family. They're gonna fuck you up.
Oh, okay. You're
Do you
making
know
a
how many
racist comment
people
right
can't
now?
stand you being
Oh,
here?
great.
You
family
play
is
games. We
that?
don't play games.
Oh, what
Okay.
kind of game are you playing?
I play games where you get
Yeah,
fucked
okay.
to death.
This
Oh,
is a
I
controversial
think what?
placement here, given
Excuse
this
me, lady.
high-level rape
Apparently,
Karen only
the person
has
behind the
been
camera was
here, but
an
only to
Asian
explode.
person doing
While
their
this freakout
stretches,
really is
so
impressive, especially because
it's a
both
racist
happened
Karen.
in the same day,
Oh,
within the span of maybe
good.
an
I like
hour or two.
those.
Lady,
I
would
do
like
think
to
that it just
Uh,
lacks the
It's
crucial
called
element
bar
that
soap.
S tier freakouts
He's so
have,
wasteful. He's
which
so
is
wasted.
high octane, huge amounts of energy, enough to like fucking rumble the earth that they step on. It's just missing that element.
Wasn't getting enough oxygen.
Too much boba tea.
You can't make human connection.
Oh
Lady.
God, I don't like.
We can't hug people.
Cover your whole face, damn it. Cover your whole face. I don't want to see it.
This Karen really took an
Why would
interesting
anybody
approach.
want
Instead of
you to
anger
hold
and
their
aggression, she
babies,
chose
lady?
just a laid-back
No.
vlog
Go
in the
look at the
car,
screen
and how she
cap.
nearly suffocated and
Ugh.
exploded because the mass
No.
was just overwhelming.
That's the sort of
Holy
face.
water.
Goes for a
That's
little
the sort of-
That's the face that-
reminding us of
That's
a
the sort
world
of
where we
look that
can't
could
hold
creep the
babies.
Joker out.
And it's sad. It really
No,
is sad.
That's
a
I
face
can't
that
even
could
imagine
smash
world
the
like
mirror
that.
right
I don't
there.
know what I'd do if I
Oh,
was a kid without
God,
holding a
no.
baby. I don't even I don't even want to picture that kind
Lady,
of
if
dystopian universe.
surgeons
Like, that'd be
in
terrible.
the ER
But this is definitely
can
a
rock
C-tier
a
Karen.
mask for almost 12 hours, then you can wear one for 10 minutes in a Walmart.
Ugh.
Oh God, it's a Karen of the dead!
Not the dead, no!
Ew, you nasty. What the fuck?
Guys,
You're drunk,
excuse me.
lady. Go home.
I was
I
gonna
hope
say
you
she's
get brain damage.
I was gonna say she's either drunk or on meth.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Raiden, that would involve she had a brain to damage.
This is 100%
I know.
Karen to finish it off right here. Truly
Yeah,
remarkable
I
stuff.
think that
Actually
lady
looks
was
like a
on
straight
meth.
out of I Am Legend, going from shoulder barges to the door,
I
even
should
like
be
a
laughing, but
rhino
come
head
on.
charge at the door, pulling
Imagine
out
waiting
all the
for
stops,
trick-or-treaters
needing
and
to
she
get
shows
into
up at your
that building,
house.
and trying everything she can, and then she gets arrested.
Trick.
This just has
Reinforced steel
everything.
door.
Truly the best
I'd go with
freak out,
Trick.
at least the last month. Maybe not of all time, because I still think maybe the Walmart Karen's
How
a
about
little
I go
better,
with
and
Run
especially
Away?
consistent.
Run Away?
She does that at least once every 6
I
months.
say a small can of
unless this lady's doing
oleocapsaicin.
this once a week
For
or once
those
every
who need
3
to know,
months, I still think
pepper
the
spray.
Walmart Karen's got her beat.
Yes,
But for
that's
at
what I was
least the
gonna
last
say.
month or so of this Karen breakout, this is
Put a
probably my
bucket of
favorite
pepper
one.
spray. Just
So
spray it
anyway,
all
this
in
is the
her
conclusive
body.
tier
Go
list
away,
here. This is
lady.
all 100% accurate.
Or get
The
one of
other
those
tier
big
list of
ones they
Karens
use for
will not
bears.
be as accurate as this one.
Yes.
Bear mace,
That's about it.
yes. Bear
Bear
mace
mace.
bear mace is very legal and very handy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They sell-
the
they sell it-
first time I see Bear Mace was when Cartman was cosplaying as Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, they sell it at most sporting goods and camping stores.
Sean Redford
Oh,
just said this
God.
might go well for the 31st of October. Oh,
A
God.
Bear Mace trap.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
God.
Do we have something lighter so we don't end on a sour note?
Please hold.
I don't know if it was sour, but I'm laughing.
Well then, let me see if I have anything in my history I can grab up for us really quick. If not, I can at least look up a cute GIF file.
Oh.
I should at least have something from
Let me see.
I should have some kind of cat video in my repertoire here. No, not Kitten Academy. I need the short version Teddy Kittens.
Teddy Kittens.
Please hold.
Alright.
Ow.
Let's see. It's
Just went to stretch and my elbow just popped back into place.
here we go. I found something. It's short, but it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A serious man is attacked by furry cuties.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm at 0-0.
I'm at 0.
Hold on, let me,
That's a lot of cats.
hold on. Gotta get that ad revenue. Here it is. All right.
And legit reason. Gotta keep those kitties nice and fed.
Meow.
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Feel the floof and play.
Yay. Hi
Oh,
Garfield.
Garfield.
Hi Carmel. Hi Pixel. Oh, look at Garfield. They're all cute, but Garfield's the cutest. I'm sorry. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, man.
Oh, that is adorable.
Stop it.
It's like, look, I'm on my belly and I'm showing my butt to show that I trust you. Because apparently cats moon you if you as a sign of showing that they are comfortable around you.
Oh, that is so cute.
She look like
look
a
at
silver
look at
cheeks.
the face. Look at 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 that face.
Oh,
Are they
Look at
the
that thing.
same? Are they the same breed that Hosiko is?
I think so.
No.
I'm gonna have it.
Oh,
Oh, come
nose licks.
on. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. Not gonna lie, one of those kitties looks like a Grexico. Without the rage.
Yeah, one of them does look like Ritzko. If the whiter one had bigger, floofier ears, I'd say that one would look like Finico,
Yeah.
who, FYI, is my spirit animal.
There's Garfield, the big one.
it's a big boy.
Where's the lasagna?
Ah.
Like you're holding out on me, human.
Father, I require lasagna. They're just so cute and foofy.
Shoulder kitty. Shoulder kitty. Look at shoulder kitty.
The early days of Navi.
Before the biting.
Before the biting, and when he was small enough to sit on my shoulder, because before Steven became a frequent member of SKL, I remember he would be in the chat, and Navi would be climbing onto my shoulder as a little bitty kitten when I broadcasted in the kitchen. And he would go, "Pirate cat," in the chat.
Cameron getting some pets. That's great. Oh.
Yum, 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 yum.
Come on, stop that. Seriously?
Oh.
It's a weird thing with trying to read a cat's emotions. The only way you're able to know if they're actually content is if they're purring, because unlike dogs, cats don't really have that many facial muscles to show if they're happy, guilty, or annoyed. With a dog, you can tell. You know.
Yeah, with a cat, it's more or less body language. It's also, they can also wink, but if you want to know if they're really happy, really comfortable, really content, it's when they're sitting in the shape of a bread loaf.
Yes. Trust me, I've had a cat do that one time. Her name was Mimi.
There we go.
Oh, Bianca. Bianca, oh my God. Oh, Bianca.
Although interesting thing, I remember reading in a Top of the Pops magazine years ago, Cleopatra actually used to have two cats called Tia and Tamara.
Ooh.
And Tia and Tamara actually have official Facebook pages as well.
Nice.
And I don't know what it is about them, but neither of them have aged. Especially Tia Mowry, because a lot of her stuff shows up in my news feed. There's one or two grey hairs that have grown in, but facially, there's little to no difference. That and, you know, shows like Sister, that's always going to be fresh. Especially the, I think some of the best supporting characters are their respective adoptive parents, especially Ray. Remember that one?
Yeah, Ray was a good dad.
Remember that one episode where he had the coffee machine and he got a little too enthusiastic with the garden shears?
Oh my God.
And, as ever, go home, Roger.
Yeah.
And we had very wholesome moments, too. Like, I think it was Tamara who didn't have a date for the prom, so she had a really wholesome evening with Ray. And they had their own cute little father-daughter dance. You don't really see wholesome sitcoms like that very often.
No. Whereas most sitcoms today like to push the envelope a tiny bit more. I mean, shows like Sister and Fresh Prince were probably like one of the very few, you know, sitcoms left back in the day that could be... It has its wholesome messages, but it's done in such a way whereby, you know, everyone can enjoy it, because I feel like you can be cheeky, but you know how to keep it in a level whereby people that, you know, still like their wholesome stuff can think, well, it's not really crossing any line. It's like, I don't want to call it a tease, but it's just a a little bit more. It's a little over cheeky, but it's not being provocative, if that makes any sense. Whereas if you watch something like The Big Bang Theory, I felt like
giant insults to nerds everywhere.
Well,
even though my personal favorite is Leonard, I feel like he's the most genuine.
Yeah. And to be fair to Jim Parsons, he's doing his job well. Where if you happen to be on the show and you wanted to punch Sheldon, he's doing his job properly. Because Sheldon, there are times I'm like, oh dude, I just so want to hit you right now. Especially...
Yeah, there are times. Okay, there are times I like Sheldon. There's sometimes I can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
No. I felt like they actually made some progress when they actually had Raj's character actually lose his selected mutism, which I thought, okay, that's a breakthrough. But then there are times where he's just being such a douche, and you just sort of think, come on, man.
And Wallowitz. Let's not forget. Let's talk about Wallowitz the better.
Ugh.
Even though him and Bernadette, I always found adorable.
Bernadette was a good bean.
Same goes for Amy.
The thing that gets me with her character in the beginning, she's basically the female Sheldon. Does everything from a logical perspective. Although she doesn't get the whole point of the comic book scene and what have you. In the beginning, when her character was brought in, she was pretty much not into the idea of her and Sheldon bumping uglies, and then for whatever reason, a season and a half into when she made her debut, all of a sudden that's all she can think about. And I'm like, it's not one of those, it didn't happen slowly. It's just like it gets written in out of nowhere. It'd be like, all right, let's say, for the sake of discussion, Raiden and Liz star in a sitcom called, I don't know, let's just call it the Raiden and Liz show, because I can't think of anything witty at the moment. And Liz played...
How about Zen and Awesome?
Yeah, that'll do.
That works.
Or Awesomely Zen.
Ooh! Even better.
And let's just say, for the sake of discussion, Liz plays a character called Monica DeBella, and for 3 seasons, Monica is pretty much hating Kim Kardashian, which that requires no acting from Lydia's part.
Oh God, no.
And then all of a sudden, in the 5th season, she sees Kim Kardashian in person and says, "Okay, me and you hotel room later." It'd be like, "What? Where did that come from?"
What?
Like, but no.
That'd be like Raiden, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after hating Paul Feig for so many years, suddenly sees him in person, and then suddenly starts being like, you're my mentor, you're my idol. Whereas Braid would be like, oh no, the fuck I ain't. It's like, that'll never happen. That'd be like, I'm trying to think of certain people that Win hates, but there's quite a long list there.
It's fine. I definitely get it with this scenario, but at the same time, if that were to happen with either one of them, they would suddenly be visited by the elf of common sense and smacked in the back of their heads. Because Liz, Raiden, I love you guys dearly, but that would be way too out of character for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's just something that just appeared out of nowhere. And I'm going to be quite frank. Whereas with Amy and Sheldon, that works. Bernadette and Howard works. Let's call it for what it is. Penny and Leonard's relationship is an abusive one because she's always taking advantage of him to the point where when she moves in, she practically throws out all his stuff and just remodels the room how she wants it. I get in relationships you have to have a compromise, but there's also a little thing called give and take. You know, you can suggest to have
especially with later seasons, she became more bitchy.
Yeah, I mean, season 1 and season 2, she was adorable. But when it got past like season 3, season 4, I'm just like, okay, Penny, I know you're supposed to be the object of Leonard's affection, but you're giving me actually a very good reason to hate you. And she seems to take it real personal when Leonard would, when Leonard was dating Priya, I thought that actually worked because Priya was on the same intellectual level as him. And Raiden, I know you had to get.
And in Leonard's, what's that? In Leonard's words, he was a forbidden piece of white chocolate.
Oh my!
although, Raiden, I know you had to get a huge kick out of when Priya refuted Sheldon's roommate agreements.
Dude, oh my god, that was fucking awesome.
Oh, God. I don't know why they had to split them up because, well, for starters, Priya was nice, was actually intelligent, and gosh dang, she was hot.
Oh, yeah.
But Penny, I mean, to be fair to Kaylee Coco, she played her part well.
Yeah.
I just, in the long run, her and Leonard were a mismatch because she didn't treat him right. She was always getting him to do what she wanted. I'm sorry that, I'm not an expert on relationships, and even I know that's not how that works. I mean, with Lids and Oni, there's give and take, there's compromises that, Lids gets to have what she wants, and vice versa, Oni gets to have what he wants, because that's how relationships work.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I even though we don't like the same things, he doesn't like D&D because he thinks it's boring, and as much as I try to get into Gun Club building, it's just like, okay, good. That's your hobby. You do you. Just, I can't get into it. I say that to him, and I keep saying, it's like, we don't have to like the same things. That's the thing. It's called compromise.
That's the beauty of humanity. We're made differently. If anything, you have a working system, because an important thing in relationships, be they platonic or romantic, is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, compromise. For example, if we wanted to decorate a room particularly, I would say, hey, tell you what, MJ, your cards are awesome and I know you love them, but it'd be kind of cool to have a bit of my flair in this room too. So how about we get you some awesome shadow boxes so your cards are on full display, and they have little easy to open doors so you can take them out and admire them anytime you want. And on my half of the room would be my Gunpla and my D&D books.
And somewhere MJ's hard to skip the beat.
If I ever move into your neighborhood, I'm taking you out. No more ends of discussion. If I'm in your neighborhood, we're being a couple. No more discussions.
Okay. Oh my. But yeah, you work a system like one night one person cooks, the other does the dishes, vice versa. It's like, okay, it's Monday, it's your turn to vacuum, and I'll do this. Or it's Tuesday, it's my turn to vacuum, so you take care of the garage. Or something along those lines. You work a system where you both kind of help each other do things.
Yep.
So that way it doesn't feel one-sided and there's no needless friction.
No, I can't add anything to that. That's actually very spot on. Desktop.
It's logical.
No, my desktop says, "Oh, we have a problem with your account. Yeah, I have a problem with you interrupting. Go away." But no, can't.
And the first one.
You know, I can't add or refute anything Wynn's just said. That's how relationships work. And Fridays is Subway night.
I can agree with that. Subway and a movie.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, if I'm in the same neighborhood, yeah, we're being boyfriend and girlfriend. No more discussion.
But yeah, and the cooking part I used for the first example, I wouldn't mind too much because I like cooking for people, be they just my friends or family. But that's like kind of the whole entire point, because if one side's just being stagnant, that's not healthy.
Nope.
Oh God, no.
I mean,
if that ever happens, that's where you need to make like a tree and get the fuck out of there, to quote Doc from Boondock Saints.
I mean, at least with Howard and Bernadette, there is compromise between them. Although the way he lost his TARDIS booth, I'm not a Doctor Who fan, and that was brutal. And of all things, Amy gets it, and she thinks it's going to bring her and Sheldon together, but no, it just allows Sheldon to live out a Doctor Who fantasy.
Oh no! Geez. Oh lordy.
And even she's going, "This is not turning out the way I had envisioned." And the thing that I don't know why I find this so funny. It's the one episode where Amy finally gets her wish and Sheldon and her do the thing. It sort of ends with the episode, you know, Sheldon looks the same as before, but you see Amy's hair gone all frizzed, and she's like and she looks like she's done stuff, like, and you're like, Sheldon?
Oh my.
It's like, Sheldon, what on God's green earth did you do? Oh dear. But then you gotta think though, when Sheldon moved across the hallway into Penny's old apartment, you gotta think Leonard was jumping for joy with the fact it's like, oh thank gosh, I don't have him as a roommate anymore. Because Raiden, imagine ever living with Sheldon as a roommate. You'd be like, nope, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that roommate spot can just like, ugh.
That'd be like, oh good lord, imagine Oni as Sheldon.
Oh no!
Now I'm imagining this. Bazinga.
Don't give him ideas.
It'd be like, Odin, clean up your act, or my sister from another mister is moving in with me.
Oh, there. Oh, there. Well, we're definitely ending on a slightly more humorous level than the 4 tiers of Karen. Sweet lord.
Seems like a good time to.
Yeah. I can say one thing ahead of the return to Turtlevember next week. There was one fictitious ad that I was going to put in there, but I'm not sure if I would put it in there because it would just sort of look out of context with what I was going to do. I was going to have a thing where it would say, this is brought to you by Cyber-Raiden's Ninja Pizza, guaranteed no L's, and then pops up with Paul Feig, you should know. But I decided to cut it because it kind of disrupted the flow. Unlike last week with Bill Bixby pointing to the coffee going, Dr. Banner's coffee, guaranteed not to make you go green, because it was in the moment, it fit perfectly, but I don't know. I've still got the promo piece if you want it though, Raiden.
Well, worst case, you could always do a nod to the 1980s cartoon and keep the Ninja Pizza thing, but make it shorter by going home of the nice slice.
Maybe. And on that note, folks, we'll call it time here for this week. It's been kind of a roller coaster. We've lost an amazing legend in Sean Connery this week, but we've covered a lot of other things with regards to WWE and how bad their soap opera writing has gotten. But also ending it on a fun note. So, yeah. Hopefully next week we'll have more added kaiju included. And, hopefully he's recovered from the long train ride as well. So, until next week, I have been the Knight, saying good night from the night.
Night.
Until next time.
Bye.
Take care, everyone, and stay safe.
Yes.
Also, for people who are going through the triple N, I salute you all. A lot of people knows what I'm talking about, and that's all I'll say.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, folks, and stay safe out there.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wash your hands. Wear your mask.
Ciao.
Stay stupid.
Go out and vote.